leaning. Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 6:31. Thank you for everybody that could get here earlier, so maybe we won't go till 2 o'clock in the morning with this agenda. Could I please get a roll call?
John O'Neill.
He is absent.
Mary Ann Springer. Here. Paula Kane.
Yes.
Melissa Kowalczyk.
Here.
Shauna Manthorn.
Here.
Kate Knudsen.
Here.
Don Woodworth.
Here.
Jack Sapia.
Here.
Mark Sherwood.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if everyone can stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have some approval of some minutes. We have our regular board meeting that we had back on June 18th, and then we have the special meeting for July 16th. We'll do the June 18th meeting minutes first.
Make a motion to accept the June 18th, 2026 school board meeting minutes.
Motion by Shauna, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alyssa. Does anybody have any discussion on these meeting minutes? Yep, Marion.
I'd like to correct a couple things on page 2.
Yep, go ahead.
It's just above the delegates and individuals, the statement that I was attended the premiere and commented on the very moving, it should just say end, and how everything was very well done.
Okay.
And then I believe it was Mr. Sherwood who thanked them.
Mr. Sherwood.
Okay. All right, any other adjustments? All right, all those in favor? 6-4 opposed, and then abstain. 2 abstains. All right, and then we're gonna do the July 16th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 16th. meeting.
Thank you. I got a motion by Mary Ann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alyssa. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing that there is none, all those in favor? Opposed and abstain. 2 abstentions. All right. Next, we have some delegates and individuals. We have one. It's Kate Rockford. Did I say that right?
No.
Sorry.
Join the club.
How do you say it?
Rochford.
Rochford. Okay, you actually say the. All right. Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Kate Rochford. I reside at 5 Hemlock Heights Road, Atkinson. I am also the president of the Atkinson Historical Society. And first and foremost, thank you for that wonderful job that the Atkinson Academy Belfry went through. It's phenomenal. We love it. We're always showing it off. As a matter of fact, we're doing a trolley tour in October, and that's one of the stops. One of the last stops, so thank you. But as you put so much attention to that, I have been slowly grabbing Jack Sapia's ear, saying the Historical Society would like to work with the school district as consultants to help you move forward with helping embracing the history of the academy. The academy goes, the 1803 building, as you all know, but you know the academy was first built in the 1780s. That burned down in fire. Some of the rich history that academy has. President John Adams sent 6 of his grandchildren to the academy. And they probably lived at the Kimball House, which is the old Peabody home from Reverend Peabody. John Adams visited Atkinson and stayed at the Peabody home. So we're asking you to work with us, let us work with you and help you embellish the history of the academy. One of our members, Pam Alexander, is working on the history of the academy that she's on staff with you, that she wants to share with the students of the academy and also with the residents. So there's so much that building could bring to light and to embrace its history to share with the students. As if you want to apply for grants, as the school embraces its history and shares it with the students, helps the grants. They want to know that the school history is being preserved. So I'm just here to say, we are not volunteering to do it, but as you know, we're in the middle of the schoolhouse. I don't know if you're aware of the Center Schoolhouse restoration in Atkinson. We're restoring Atkinson's last one remaining schoolroom, which is right across the street from the academy. And we're already talking to teachers of what we're going to do in the near future. So I'm here to offer that service to help you move forward with preserving the history.
Thank you. What, hold on, what getting her email address and would that be the best thing?
Yeah, that would be
I
great.
can't hear.
If you could leave your contact information, you could leave it right with Kelly before you
Sure.
leave, a way that the district could contact you,
Absolutely.
as we kind of explore opportunities to see what resources we can partner.
Yeah, so if you don't mind just writing your contact information down before you leave and giving it to her, like what Mr. Krieger said, and then he can start corresponding back and forth
Okay,
with you
that's
guys,
great.
okay? All right, thank you.
I just real quick, I think it's important. The Historical Society has a certain level of expertise of getting resources on historical stuff. I mean, something that I don't think we commonly do. So I think this would be a welcomed asset or a welcomed effort. So thank you, Kate, very much.
And if you want to know more about us, just go to our website, atkinsonhistoricalsociety.org.
Don, did you have something?
Well, question and then maybe some ideas, but the question is about, down on the road, what did each town have as a historical reference of this district? And, what schools were even prior to that? Similarly, as if we're going to be doing this some type of thing with the schools, it shouldn't be just about one town, but about the whole district.
Oh,
It would
absolutely.
be nice to see what resources we have. And I know that some of the work of the librarian at the high school and with one of the English teachers and the kids in their research, has already, culled, information from people that have been in the district for a long time about, the history that they know of and how things have changed over time. I think it's a great thing to do. I would not limit it, to, probably the most significantly, history rich, John Adams, come on, I mean, that's pretty special. But you learn a lot. I don't even know where kids went to school in the rest of our district, prior to the Timberland district being formed. So there's a lot of questions.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Please make sure that she gets your information so we can start that, and good points Don, as well. We can reach out to our other historical societies and see what else they can offer. That would be a good thing to do. All right. Do we have any other delegates or individuals? No. Okay. Can I get a motion to move the 27 minutes of delegates and individuals to the end of the meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Mark. Do I have a second? Second by Alyssa. No, Shauna. So sorry. My brain is in fog. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, unanimous. All right.
On all of those. I don't like that.
Oh, 7-1.
And don't show up.
Take it up with Concord.
No, it's not you guys.
Very well. Duly noted. 7-1. All right, first up for current business, we have the athletics annual report. Come on up, Mr. Angelo.
Evening, Angelo.
Hi, folks. How are you?
And I think you're also going to be staying for the
A,
next,
B, and C.
yeah, you got 3 items, okay.
I promise I will.
No, you're fine.
As I can. First, the annual report, first on the agenda here. So just a couple of quick highlights. Great year last year. During the 25-26 school year, the athletic department put on approximately 807 events between middle school and high school for the year. That's not including practices. That's just all games, tournaments, playoffs, etc. Throughout the year, we had approximately 739 middle school and high school kids participating in athletics. And out of those student athletes, 41% played multiple sports. We had 433 kids in one sport, 188 playing 2, and 118 playing 3. So we're really happy about that. Middle school athletic update. And I want to thank Mr. Zach Champion, the middle school coordinator last year for this. The Timberland Middle School Athletic Program is a member of the Tri-County League and competes against schools from around the state in New Hampshire. The purpose of the Tri-County League is to organize, coordinate, and stimulate interest in athletic activities while developing young athletes at the middle school level. The Tigers enjoyed an outstanding athletic year with more than 312 student athletes participating during the year, and our student athletes and coaches represented Timberlane with pride, achieving success across multiple sports. During the winter season, the girls' wrestling team made school history by finishing second in the state championship. It was the highest finish in their program's history. Boys' basketball team had an exciting run and made it to the finals for that season. And in the spring, the continued momentum with several impressive accomplishments. The girls' A softball team advanced to the finals. And also, this is something that we're really proud of. The girls' track and field team put together a dominant season, winning every meet that they competed in before capturing the Tri-County Championships. But here's the wonderful thing. The championships were especially meaningful as it was held at Timberlane's new track and allowed us to host the Tri-County Championships for the first time in more than a decade. At the high school level, we compete in the New Hampshire Interscholastic Athletic Association. You know that as the NHIAA. We are a recognized Division I athletic program, and we offer over 30 sports programs for our kids. Another thing that we're very proud of is many of our student athletes are also involved in a variety of activities, including band, music, and student government. The athletic program enjoyed tremendous success throughout the year. The wrestling team captured the Division I state championship, and our winter cheer team finished as runner-ups at the state meet. Spring was incredible. All of our sports teams qualified for the state tournament. We had girls lacrosse, baseball, and softball all making it to the state semifinals. It was an exciting spring. Aside from team honors, we had some really impressive individual achievements. We had rising senior Danielle Bates, who was the state champ in the high jump and the triple jump. And recent graduate Charlotte Bodwin was not just a state champ, but she broke 4 school records in the process during track. Also in lacrosse, we had Lila Fitzgerald and Riley Donahue reach milestones by scoring their 100th career goal. This I am especially proud of because I think we should be honoring our coaches. So football coach Kevin Fitzgerald has been awarded the 2025 NFHS Football Coaches Award for the state of New Hampshire. This award recognizes outstanding football coaches through its Coaching Association Awards and honoring coaches who demonstrate excellence in coaching, ethics, and sportsmanship. Coach Fitzgerald will receive this award at the upcoming fall annual meeting for the NHIA of principals and athletic directors. So he's reluctantly coming with us because he's going to get his award. I'm not getting it for him. That's what I told him. Also, senior scholar athletes. 26 of our senior scholar athletes were recognized at the NHIA and NHADA for their accomplishments in the classroom as well as on the playing field. We took those kids to the Capitol Center for the Arts last April and their families to be honored. The governor was there to present those awards to our kids. And at the conclusion of the school year, the athletic department recognized senior athletes with our award ceremony. Took place in the gymnasium. And we had seniors Lila Fitzgerald and Matt Fitzgerald, who were named Outstanding Female and Male Athletes of the Year, as well as Taylor Alpern and Michael Sanasuaso were named Outstanding Female and Male Leadership Award winners. We had 4 of our student athletes who are going on to Division I, Division II college scholarships. We had Allie Harbs going to Holy Cross for soccer. Audrina Cordero is going to the University of Bridgeport for softball. Landon Petrie is going to SNU for lacrosse. And Charlotte Boldrin will also be going to SNU for track. And lastly, we continue to create student leadership opportunities for our Life of an Owl program. We have introductory level workshops for younger student athletes. And when we can, we take our older kids out on the ropes course and they do some leadership opportunities out there. So again, very proud of all of our coaches, very proud of all our kids. Really want to thank all of our community. I want to thank you as well for all your support that you show us. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this, but Mr. Zach Champion, 3 years as middle school athletic coordinator, he is stepping down at this year. I am also happy to announce Mr. Bill McCarthy, who's behind me, will be stepping in as the middle school coordinator. And lastly, most importantly, I'd like to say thank you to Amy Stewart, my admin assistant. She does an incredible job. So that is our annual report.
Any board members have any comments about the annual report? Yep, go ahead, Jack.
Angela, fields look like they're in good shape. Talk to us about, I mean, we've come a long way, I think, in the
Well,
last.
Hold on. Do you have anything about the accomplishments of the athletic program first?
Oh,
About what he reported out on?
I thought they were one and the same, but no.
No, they're not.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. All right. Anything else about his report for the annuals?
Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Next.
Emergency action plan?
Yep.
Okay, just double checking. So Senate Bill 148 FN was signed into law on August 10th, 2021. It took effect on September 1, 2022. And this bill requires all athletic departments to create and implement emergency action plans for sport-related injuries. The Timberlane Athletic Department continues to collaborate with our athletic trainer as well as other people in the community to update our EAP. I believe you have a revised document from our EAP for this year. Coaches and student athletes from our middle school and high school teams are required to practice emergency drills in preparation for a traumatic incident. Coaches assign roles and responsibilities to members of the team. The athletic trainer coordinates drills for each team, and feedback is provided after each drill. We continue to assess our emergency action plan for relevance and best practices. The safety and security of our coaches, student athletes, and community members is our highest priority. We believe that this plan will help equip our student athletes to respond quickly and effectively in the event of an emergency. I would be remiss if I also didn't thank Mr. Mark Pedersen, because last spring, Mr. Pedersen availed himself to our coaches, and we had a very, very informative meeting about safety procedures and just got everybody thinking more about different scenarios. So thank you, Mark, for that. But again, we're starting our season tomorrow. Football starts tomorrow. Everything else starts on Monday. So within the next, I would say probably 2.5 weeks, we'll be starting doing our drills once the teams are assigning goals. So.
I do have one thing on your action plan. It's page 25 of the board packet. It's page 2 of your EAP under local hospitals and clinics. You have urgent care centers. You have the Plastow Emergency Room as an urgent care center. It is not an urgent care center. That is
Hold on
very.
a second. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. Page 2 of your EAP. It's under local hospitals and clinics.
Gotcha.
Okay. So under urgent care B, you have the
Yeah.
Plastow Emergency Room. That is not an urgent care. That is an
Okay.
emergency room. If you want another urgent care center to put down there, Convene MD is the other one in town besides Clear Choice.
We will make that change.
Those are the only changes that I saw.
Thank you.
Did you see anything else?
No, but I was gonna mention the same thing, so thank you for saying that.
Yes, I'll make that change and I'll make sure everybody has that.
That sounds great. And I
Thank
just
you.
want to say that the plan, the EAP, this is really well thought out. I really like the fact that at each of the instances that you have where the AEDs are, who to contact and everything like that, it's very well thought out. It's very well laid out. So thank you for that. And
Thank you.
Mr. Pedersen for the.
I do want to thank you guys as well and everybody that was involved, the nurses and the local authorities in terms of having those AEDs outside.
Yep.
On the school grounds. That has become a big issue around the state with other athletic directors trying to figure that out. My suggestion to them was don't try to figure it out yourself. Bring the stakeholders together and things get done. So thank you so much. You guys were great for that.
Did anybody else have anything on the action plan?
Can I actually ask a quick question about,
Yep,
since
Alyssa.
you brought up the AED being outside?
Mhm.
I'm not sure about the other elementary schools, but I believe the Pollard one is inside. I believe that's correct, well, so I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
if it's near the fields, can we move it outside?
We can bring that up in safety committee because that was one of the safety committee was the one that got more of these out and we
Okay,
housed it and stuff
okay.
like that. So that's
Yeah.
something we can bring up and we can talk to Nurse Kate about because I know that's who's over there.
Yeah.
So.
And if I may.
Yep.
Those are in addition to the ones that are inside on both the middle school and high school, just so that you know.
Mhm.
And we have our locations for inside as well as outside.
Yep.
So just so that you know they are inside.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Question, not certain whether it be your Valley work or someone else's. Speaking of the AEDs, the service or maintenance schedule for them and checking, make sure the pads haven't expired and batteries? Is
They
that-
have, so all the nurses, I'm pretty sure are the ones who are over that, and they have a system, they probably have a check sheet that they have to write it down and everything. I know the AEDs that are outside, they're housed in really good cases, and they're protected by the weather, so you don't have to worry about the gel pads or stuff like that, but they are on a rotation about maintenance. And I'm pretty sure whoever that you all bought the AEDs from probably comes out and does maintenance on them or does a yearly check or something on them.
Okay.
So yeah, they're very well taken care of. All right, I think the boosters is your last thing.
All right, here we go, last one. So booster groups wishing to display signed sponsorships from businesses on school grounds must have school board approval. Per the school board, requests need to be made every year. As a result, booster presidents must complete the fundraising form outlining their signed sponsorship details, and I believe you have those. To streamline the approval process, we had asked that the school board approve all signed sponsorships of booster groups at the August meeting. And the information from each booster group is attached, and that's kept on file. So I did reach out to them at the close of last school year, like I normally do. And as soon as they have their booster presidents, which they did, I wanted to make sure that we included everybody. So the people that are included are the ones that plan on doing that. So I would just ask your approval for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve that, to approve the boosters signage.
So is your motion to approve the booster sign sponsorships as
Yeah.
provided in the August 13 packet?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So moved by Mr. Sapia, do I have a
Second.
second? Seconded by Shauna. Any other questions?
I only have one
Yeah,
request.
go ahead.
Make sure those baseball ones don't go at the top of the fence.
It won't fall in the- You got it.
All right, any other discussion on this? All right.
Thank you to all the boosters that get this work done so
Yeah.
that we can make
Year
it
after year.
one vote for them and all that you do for the students too. Because that's
We appreciate
volunteer,
it.
so.
Yeah, we appreciate
appreciate
all the
them.
volunteers, the
Yep.
boosters, the people on the council for Timberlane Athletics. They do a super job for our kids, so we are very, very appreciative of them.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained, unanimous. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, folks.
Great. Next is the suspension authorization. Mr. Trigger?
Letter D is suspension authorization. Again, this will be an annual thing that comes before you. The RSA that's listed there in your packet grants the ability for myself to designate local administrators here to suspend students for conduct in violation of any code up to 10 days. What this is in front of you is, again, the same RSA, but seeking permission from you as a school board to designate me as the individual who could extend any sort of suspension an additional 10 days beyond what's already provided in the statute. What this would comply with or provide for is removing students for things that are raised to a very serious nature. Things like firearms in schools, things like destruction or violence that's defined in 193D, things like bullying that are not responsive to mitigated measures and responses from the school district, or anything that threatens the health, safety, or wellness of a student.
This is, for anyone, this is RSA 193:13 is what Mr. Krieger is referring to. Does anybody have any questions about this?
I'm probably most qualified to talk about this one.
Are you? Have you been
Oh, yeah.
suspended more than 10 days?
From the house and the school, no.
Go ahead, Jack.
Do we just make a motion to accept it,
Yep, it's,
give him that direction?
so
Make a
Jack,
motion to authorize the superintendent for the
Thank
school
you.
year 2026-2027 to suspend students for more than 10 days.
motion by Shauna, do I have a second?
Jack.
Seconded by Jack. Any discussion on this?
Just one real fast point of information. I'm aware of it. This has been around for a while. How often have you needed to utilize this?
In my tenure here in 4 years, I have not executed this in terms of instituting any additional days. It has allowed us to call 4 meetings with students and families to talk through something that has risen to a level of seriousness. The result was just not assigning any more days to those
Perfect.
experiences.
So it's a tool that you have to utilize if needed.
Correct.
I was gonna ask the same question.
Does anybody else have any other questions or comments about this? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained, unanimous. All right. I believe the middle school was gonna be, where'd they go? To be
Oh.
continued.
I think we skipped over one. I think we got Mark next.
Oh, secondary culinary,
That's right.
sorry.
I'll give that.
By them.
Yeah.
Just making sure you're paying attention. Sorry about that, Mark.
Well, to be fair, the culinary teacher is here, I think,
yeah.
in the audience, so that
Yes.
makes sense.
Could have thrown you off.
Good evening.
For different reasons.
I come to you tonight with the second read, I believe, of the secondary culinary courses, some updates to curriculum. The major update, and I believe this was explained last time, is just simply we're removing a competency that really focuses more on the industry, the culinary industry, rather than just the culinary skills that are more home-based. And so because
Real quick, for us, it shows that this is a first read.
Oh,
I don't think-
apologize.
I-
It is.
Okay.
First read, sorry about
Well,
that.
it says secondary in the very beginning, so that's probably why. Okay, never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
I was losing track of
It's okay.
where we were in
It's
the
okay.
process. I apologize.
No,
for that.
you're okay. Sorry to interrupt.
So this is a first read. And like I was saying, is our culinary classes at the high school and middle school are really designed for, home culinary skills. It might get kids interested in, say, doing this as a career, but we also send kids to Salem CTE for career. And so this one particular competency is really focused on, the career and, as you see, food service leadership and careers. And so that is not the main focus of those courses. And so we wanted to remove that competency so we weren't necessarily focused on that particular competency in our classes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Did you have something?
No, I'll make the motion to
All right.
approve the first read of the secondary culinary curriculum revisions.
Motion by Mary Ann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Shauna. Any discussion?
I just think this is great because my son went to Johnson and Wales, not that he took the culinary, but there are so many different aspects to that industry. And it's pretty eye-opening, so maybe it will create some interest from some students to go down, because when you look at, the Marriotts in Vegas and all these opportunities that are pretty good jobs.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great direction.
Yeah, for sure. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained, unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now the middle school.
I heard you guys are excited for us to come join you.
Oh, yeah.
So Katie,
Yeah, go ahead.
just as Mitch and his team are sitting down, I just wanted to kind of give you some context and introduce the team.
Yeah, go ahead.
Want to welcome Principal Mitch Mensis of Timberlane Regional Middle School, Assistant Principal Bill McCarthy, and as Shauna said, we are fortunate to have also Sarah Chiljan, who is one of our family and consumer science teachers. You may have seen her when the school board battled our students in the cook-off in the spring. So just want to welcome them and thank them for being here tonight. They're here, they're going to talk much more in detail about this, but we invited them here to give you an update on a presentation that they made to us at the Curriculum and Assessment Committee meeting this month. Our August meeting took place, was that last week? I think it was last week. And they're going to be speaking to you about some streamlining and small tweaks that they are making to the middle school schedule to leverage their current structure to accomplish three different things. And one is to expand access to student academic supports through WIN, and they're going to talk to you about what that is. They are looking to adjust the way 4 of their content areas currently are scheduled. And this restructure came to them from teachers. It's going to accomplish a few things. One of them is that it's going to improve the learning experience for students by providing more consistency, reducing the number of students that our unified arts teachers in those content areas have at one time, to also improve teachers' ability to better communicate with students, to provide feedback in a more timely manner, and strengthen instruction. And then most importantly, it is a means to strengthen student-teacher relationships as well. So I know you have an executive summary. They're going to speak to you about it, but our committee endorsed this adjustment to their schedule, and we wanted them to come here and speak to you about it. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
It's quite the introduction.
Welcome.
No, appreciate it. It's a lot of the thunder, but to add on to that, as you can imagine, it's summertime, and we've been meeting with the UA teachers impacted by this tweak. And Sarah said, summer vacation, I'd love to go to a school board meeting. So, come in and can I even speak to it She loves speaking from the school board, so if you have questions for her at a later time, plus she's here.
The face is saying it all.
I can also feel some of it.
I bet you can.
Right now. I told her it was happening. But we are here because we're excited about, every year we're looking at our schedule. Just like anything in education, we're trying to figure out how we can deliver best products and service for our kids, staff, and families. And this is something we looked at for the past couple of years, as you've seen in your packet. We're trying to make our best service for the kids. And in this way, I also got notes from our meeting last week that Jack said, make sure to explain when block, what I need. That is our flexible opportunity, but in this proposed schedule, kids have the opportunity to get some more pointed intervention, enrichment, supports built in. And as we've had success with it, some kids would have it on every other day basis, but with this schedule, it'd be every day. Every kid, every day. We're very excited about that. The UA impact is for just 4 of the Unified Arts classes, and Bill McCarthy can help me with the other ones as well because he's been working hard at this schedule, is Art, STEAM, Tech, and FACS. And FACS stands for, you took notes, I saw you writing it down. Family and Consumer Science, but near and dear to his heart is cooking class.
You're gonna pay for that.
That's right, put on the list. And those are the 4 classes that instead of being every other day, would be every day for a quarter. I don't know if you have it right in front of you, but does everybody have this?
We do.
This is probably the most impactful thing to see, understand, and feel, both as anybody who has been a parent who has a kid who has come through middle school or currently going through middle school, which is just to put you in the mindset of a student. Looking at just that top half. Last year's schedule, we grabbed random student and imagine it's Monday morning, they're going to school, they're going to their advisory class, then they have PE, and then they have their, I'll say, core subjects, no offense, of the UA teachers of the land, ELA, science, social studies, math. Then they have 2 more UA opportunities, computer tech and STEAM. That's their Monday. Now they go into their Tuesday, advisory. They happen to be a music student, wonderful. Music class, then they're going to ELA, science, social studies, math again, notice the consistency. Now they have FACS, family and consumer science, I won't call on them again, that'd be rude. And then one block right after that are what they need. I know, I'm building a tab here. So over the course of those 2 days, they have now had 10 different classes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And it's existed for a number of years. But we're always evaluating, is that best for our kids? Feedback we get from staff is that it's challenging because they're seeing a number of kids. I was gonna put in the spot a little bit. Ballpark number of kids you'd have in this current model last year? Over 150, over 200?
My number for this past semester was 192 to start the semester.
So that's a lot of kids to have on your plate as I'm connected with those kids, despite various challenges they might have. So that's also as an 11, 12, 13 years old. I mean, by 8th grade, they could certainly handle more. They're getting ready for high school. But especially in that 6th and 7th grade range, they're just managing a lot of bosses. That's a ton. So that's something we've been trying to figure out how we can improve it if we can. So now if you, oh, by the way, also going that first schedule, looking at the top half, that just repeats A and B. And we've done it. It can work, but we're always trying to see if it can do better. So now the proposed schedule is that bottom half. Same exact kid, and they're having the same classes. Difference is you'll notice the color only exists where there's something that's different from the Monday to Tuesday. So now they have their computer tech every day for a quarter, and their one block every day for the quarter. That's really what we're searching for, and it's accomplishing those 3 bullet points that Sandy really well illustrated.
How does your staff feel about this?
I would like Sarah to speak to that since.
Well, I know a joke was made about me being here, but I think it's well worth giving up a single evening to have this change happen. It can make a huge difference.
Are your Unified Arts teachers having the opportunity to be a part of those WIN blocks now?
Yes, they are.
So they're more integrated with the core as well? Okay. All right. Yeah, I will say my daughter, she just went through 6th grade. She's getting ready to be in 7th grade. And if I could describe the first middle school year, it was very rushed. She struggled heavily. And I mean, the middle school team, you all did an amazing job, but it was rushed. The amount of time that she had between classes, having to keep up with things, it was very challenging. I mean, she made it, but it was very challenging for her. So I know I've been talking with her a lot about this and kind of talked to her about this, and she seemed very excited that she was gonna have some more consistency throughout her semester as opposed to having to keep up with something, a million classes between A and B days.
I appreciate hearing that feedback. We get that a lot from parents, and I mean, it's already a huge challenge going from elementary school to middle school in a number of different ways. Elementary, as you can imagine, it's their primary teacher, and then also going to their unified arts and visiting and whatnot. But when they come to middle school, we do try to, I'll say, hold them by the hand a little bit at the beginning to get them, ease them through the transition. But even when the training wheels are off, it's managing a lot as an 11, 12-year-old student. And I'll focus on the 6th graders, like your daughter, you said. It's just a lot to manage. So if we can be more consistent with it, especially by adding more consistency with wind block, I feel like that could help overall student outcomes as well.
Dawn and then Shauna.
Just how long are the courses? Are they, for instance, would computer tech, math, social studies, and science all meet for the same amount of time?
Yeah, one of the things we love about our schedule is it's broken up so it's even across the board.
50 minutes or so?
48, yes. Yeah, we built in the 2 minute, hey, every minute counts.
Yes, it
Anyone knows
does.
Schedule every single minute, so we put in 2 minutes for passing time, so it is.
Passing time.
Yep. At one point, it used to be that it ended at the same time.
Except for going for PE or, whatever might be outside of the area that the team is.
They plan to have them come back because I don't love having bells in a school. It's not my preferred method. However, there's something to be said for class is over, 2 minutes, and then class starts so that we all know the time to be there. And 2 minutes is necessary. At one point, we've had many schedules over time. There used to be it ended at this time and also start at the same time. And nobody was transporting or teleporting, so I was like, maybe we should give them 2 minutes. But yeah, every minute's very valuable.
Shauna.
So I'm sadly no longer a middle school parent anymore because now both of my kids are in high school. We'll talk about that later. But I do see a lot of value in this proposed schedule for all of the reasons that you just shared, Mitch, but also I'm thinking in terms of like student experience. My own kiddos' experience, 7th grade math was a deep, deep challenge. And having essentially 9 classes was really a struggle. And so when I communicated with Mr. McCarthy as the assistant principal of the 7th grade, we chatted about some different ideas, and he really did need more support and win. But that meant that and that was wonderful, and he needed it at that time, and you guys were flexible about the schedule, but then he had to give up something. And that was kind of, one of those conversations you have to have with your kid. And I know Bill worked with him too, to kind of say like, what's the priority right now, and this schedule would allow for that opportunity to happen every day. And I think as a board member, outside of the parent hat, I really think the idea of kids having what I need every day to provide really structured and targeted supports is a complement to a lot of the work that you guys have already initiated at the middle school about the dreaded standardized testing and making those connections earlier on in the year before you get to the testing and assessment period will then hopefully help with some competency increases in our testing overall. So I think this is great, and I think it's a really creative solution to not necessarily a problem like you said, because it was working, but I love the continuous evaluation and hearing the voices of the teachers too, to be able to speak to this. So thank you for bringing this to us, because I think it's going to be beneficial to the students at the middle school.
Thanks.
And the staff as well, it sounds like, so that's good.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, well, now that I'm on curriculum, thank you very much, Shauna. I get to sit in and first of all, I'd like to thank the teachers. You guys were very impressive, very polished. Mitch, not so much, but now we're even. But no, there was a lot of work put into this. You can see that. Sandy did a great job of introducing it just like she did tonight. I will tell you, I love the win concept. I think that's fantastic. One of the things, just for everyone's edification, our biggest enemy is not enough time, right? So that's an issue. Let's see, what else? So one of the concerns I have is, you know, you just saw University of Michigan, their freshmen are all just gonna get A's or whatever, right? It's one grade. I just wonder, just from a parent standpoint and seeing how kids are growing up now in generations and living with your parents till you're 35, should we be challenging them more or making it easier? And that's not a critique of what you're doing, but it was a question I had for myself. The kids are definitely older. The teachers are on board with this, so I think those are all positive things. I don't agree with the fact that this is just a tweak. The sixth graders won't be impacted at all because they are new to the middle school, so there's really no changes for them. It's not a tweak. It's a change in how you're delivering curriculum. And I know this is down here for informational, but I believe, and it's been mentioned, and we talked about it at the curriculum thing, whether this is the day-to-day workings or whether this is, I mean, there's a history of us, if we change a book, we have 2 reads. It's part of, I believe it's part of our governance. And only because this is substantial, in my opinion, in the delivery of this. It's very different than what we experienced the prior 2 weeks. I see this as being apples and oranges. So I would like the board to just formally take a vote on this. I think you're gonna get the support. But
Make that motion?
Do it. Well, I don't know how to, I wasn't thinking about making a motion, but I'll make the motion.
Is there a motion to show support?
No, a motion to adopt the changes to the UA schedule as delivered tonight.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Jack, seconded by Mark. Any other discussion?
Could you say the motion again?
Now I gotta get even with you.
And put facts in there if you can. Can you say the motion again? I'm kidding.
It was to adopt the changes to the
Middle school
Unified
grade,
Arts
middle
Program
school.
as delivered tonight by Mitch Mensis.
Mary Ann, go ahead.
I think the word adopt is a little bit too strong for what we should be doing. I think that it's up to the superintendent and the district admin teams to decide on changes, and that what we should be doing is endorsing them as opposed to adopting.
Yeah, I would respectfully disagree with that, only because if you look at our history and what we do, especially around, you know, the block schedule, and we took a vote on it. Our job is to govern. I don't want to, if we were moving math from early in the morning to late in the afternoon, or extending the lunch period, or tweaking a schedule, as that word is used regularly, then I would say yes. But this is the delivery of curriculum that affects every single student in the middle school. So I think that's, and it's really our job. And there are always, we talked about it at the meeting, there are gray areas that have been discussed at other school boards across the country as to where that day-to-day responsibilities end and the governance starts. So this is not I do not want to tell someone what direction to cut the grass. I don't want to tell somebody how to teach math. But I do, when you have a change like this, it's a change, just like when we change a book and curriculum, just so many other things. And when you heard about the work that went into this and the benefits to it, they're substantial. So I think that warrants, or changes are substantial. So I think that belongs in the governance lane, if you will. So that's.
Yep, go ahead.
So I have one question, and then I wanna maybe respond. As you enabled the WIN block to be every day, does that for students reduce the number of UA opportunities that they get within a school year?
You don't mind?
What we did was before when, if a model UAs ran at the same time as WIN, so kids would not automatically lose out on one or the other depending. So yes, in theory, kids could have less opportunity for other UAs, depending on if they're a music kid or a foreign language kid. It all depends on the tracks kids that are. But in the sense that their journey through UAs doesn't change. The curriculum is the same, whether it's going from every other day to first semester to every day per quarter. It's still the same curriculum. So the curriculum isn't changing. It's just the consistency in which it is delivered is what's changing in terms of UAs. Every kid will get a UA, you know, if you like facts, you'll get facts. If you like STEAM, you'll get STEAM. Is there an opportunity to maybe not have that, depending on how their class is kind of arranged, at the foreign language or music or both? Yes. It's a long way to say yes.
It's, my original thought, Jack, was you mentioned if you were just moving math from one time to another or something like that. That's just a schedule change. I don't think that rises to the school board. This is kind of in between because the curriculum isn't changing, but the amount of exposure for a student is changing. And the delivery.
Are you changing the way you deliver music?
No.
Are you changing the way you deliver math?
No.
So the only thing that's changing is what time of day, what semester these kids are getting these classes, correct?
For the four, out of the four UFRS class, instead of that being every other day, it's every day for a quarter.
Right. So delivery's not changing.
Well, it most certainly is. And the other thing I would tell you is if all of a sudden they decided that, well, we're gonna do the performing arts for half a year to make things more balanced. I know a few members on this board, we jumping over out of their skin, jumping over the tables to take a vote in the other direction. And the other thing is, I just don't wanna give up some more of our governance responsibilities. It's not a big deal. I just think it's appropriate that, I mean, if we change a book, if we change a course,
But that's by
we
policy.
vote on it.
But it's by policy. There's no
Well,
policy.
this is it, well, there's
no policy that sets the schedule.
But this
How
is
they
in
deliver.
schedule, so the game of semantics, right? This is a tweak. You just heard all the work that was done. You just heard all the benefits to it. There are substantial benefits to this. There are changes in the way these kids are going to the delivery of it. The delivery is gonna be for a quarter and then not for a quarter, and it's gonna be moved around. I think there are certain aspects of this that are absolutely phenomenal. And I'll say that right up front. I have a few concerns, but.
Mark and then Marianne.
May I suggest that this is a topic, it should be a new agenda item for us to discuss, because this is a philosophical divide among certain members of the board. That being said, a motion was made to show support for the change in schedule as presented. I would like to call the vote.
Marianne is gonna do it and then we can.
Oh.
But I think Justin wants to, so Marianne then Justin.
The only thing, I did look for a
And what you got?
policy, and the only policy I really saw about this was between the board and the superintendent, policy BDD and BDDR, where the board sets the policy and the superintendent keeps the board informed about the operations of the schools for the benefit of the students and committee. And to me, community, and to my from my perspective, we're being kept informed, and I think it's perfectly appropriate for us to endorse something, but I don't think we are required by our policies to adopt a program.
So I'd like to.
Hold on, it's
Oh,
Justin.
I'll close the discussion if I could before the vote.
I'd like to amend my motion to say adopt, not support, adopt. We have a responsibility of governance and oversight. During that meeting, it was determined by the very people that we have oversight responsibility over, that no, this is, the board has no authority over this. I think that should be our decision. And of course, there are those gray areas. And we are most certainly not trying to tell anyone how to teach math. We're not trying to tell. And if you look at the history, what we will be doing is if we don't do this, it will be thrown back at us at some point in time, or potentially thrown back at us that, oh, you didn't take an action over here, here's the history. And the fact that we have a history of when we change and go to block scheduling, or anything substantial that affects every single student in that middle school, how we're delivering that on a daily basis. And we heard the effects, positive and negative potentially, how it will impact the students. That's a governance issue.
So
In my
wait,
opinion.
did you say you were amending your motion?
Yep, to adopt the proposed changes.
You had already said your motion, was it not already adopted? So were you amending it to something
Did I
else?
say adopt?
I think
You
that
did.
we.
You want me to read
How much
had
support?
Discussion about changing it.
Did I say support or adopt?
No, you said
No, you
adopt
said
initially. Would you
adopt.
like to change it to support?
No. I
Okay,
wanna keep it at adopt.
just trying.
Justin, did you want to close up?
I just want to share and make sure the board has all the information that where I stand on this, because I did share it with the Curriculum Instruction Committee. So I just want to share that same information tonight. I do not think it is the purview of the board to approve and adopt daily building schedules on an annual basis. I do think that there is absolutely a way to keep people informed and weigh in, but I do view this as the operational annual review of schedules and talking with staff and kids, so we can design schedules year to year as we're in constant state of improvement. So I want all the members here to understand that position, and I share that with the committee that was there.
Yeah, I like what you said there, and I don't, I like the work that was done here, especially for me. This is meaningful because you can upset me in an executive function capacity pretty easily by messing up my schedule or by giving me a scattered, I need essentialism. Like I need, what am I doing? Use your schedule. If you go in too many directions. So I like the ideas. The ideas are great. In terms of what we're talking about right now, I don't know, yeah, I agree with what Justin just said. I think if it was a curriculum change or new books, everything else, I think, but I would more rather, I don't know enough about this at the level that you guys do. If it stinks and we're getting a lot of bad feedback, that's when and the superintendent hasn't addressed that, I think we get involved. And now we're talking a different story, but I don't fear that in this case. I think I would love to empower the people that put this together to do it and drive this and see what positive changes we have. It looks good to me.
Don?
I do agree with Justin that, and maybe not with you in this case, because I don't think that it's our job to do your job. It's our job to give you feedback when you get a presentation and there are aspects of it that bother us or we feel aren't fully expressed or we need more information about it to work on something. We'd ask you to do that, and generally, that type of feedback is important for you to get, a sense of what's going on in terms of the public, response to what's going on in the schools, and which we represent as a board. And I think they can really slow down progress in the district if superintendent isn't the CEO who's running the show and ensuring that you're doing the work that you have demonstrated you've done. You've had a good process and you're comfortable explaining it. Seem to have support of staff. It's for the benefit of students, and it's nothing outrageous. It's actually just a kind of a
Don't say tweak.
reorganization in order to provide time for the kids who need it most, to have their people have access to, their schedules, to be a part of, helping them on a daily basis. So, it's solid, and it's great that you're here to tell us that. So I would be very happy to, do a vote, but I think it would be kind of irrelevant. And I think that to show support, we could all show support or show the degree of support that we have. You have that information. That's kind of where I'm at.
Jack?
Yeah, and I'll just finish up with this. It is a change in the delivery of the curriculum that affects every student in the school. We are not, once we vote on it, which I believe it would be approved, then it's up to Justin to go, just like when we change a book, just like when we do anything else in here. We have, I'm afraid if we give up some of this authority, which I believe we have, and again, you could argue that this is a gray issue, but it is a change. Don just said it. That substantially impacts the students positively. Every single student in that in that middle school. Why wouldn't we vote to approve that? We do it at every single meeting. And I just occasionally, I mean, a few of you know how I feel about some of this stuff. Ultimately, we're responsible. Ultimately, it is us. And we have oversight over the superintendent. I don't mean in a dictatorial kind of way, but I mean, that's the way it works. This is more of a vote of confidence on the work that they did than anything else. But if you think this is just a tweak, then why are we even having this discussion? It's just a scheduling change, but it's not. And so I think it's a change, a substantial change in the delivery of the curriculum that needs our approval, because that's proper governance, in my opinion.
Dawn, and then Mary Ann.
You know, one of the things that was most important to NEASC when they did evaluations of schools and districts, you know, was the degree to which the educators had autonomy, the ability, you know, to make decisions based on their background, their experience, and what they can demonstrate as best practice. And boards should be supportive of that work in general. If there is an issue that needs to be voiced, the board's where it's going to happen. But once we hire a superintendent, they're in a position to be that person to take a look at what the change is, coach the group if he sees loopholes, things that aren't well expressed, or things that aren't going to be clear to the public, or, you know, basically that he doesn't agree with. You know, that's where his experience, expertise. That's why we hire somebody there.
Yeah.
We're hiring the best person we can find, and we've done searches, you know, and been very picky about who we choose. And we struggle sometimes, but you know what? If you don't respect that process, you're going to lose the faith of the people that are doing the work in the district. And I would hate to see that happen.
Mary Ann.
I have a procedural question. How does one support a program that is up as a motion to be adopted when you don't believe that the adoption is appropriate?
So this is what could happen. One, Mark can withdraw a second, and if nobody else seconds it, the motion dies. And then if someone wants to make a motion for support, that's fine. Or if people just want to say, hey, we support you, go forth, that's also fine. If Mark doesn't withdraw a second, Jack won't amend his motion. If you don't believe it, you can say, hey, I'm voting no, not because I don't believe in what you're doing. I don't believe in the motion. It can fail. And then if you want to make a motion for support, or just say, hey, we support you all, go forth, you can do it that way. So those are the two pathways. Go ahead, Mark.
Jack, would you be willing to change the language in such a way that becomes more nebulous so that we can leave this for a further discussion? I believe the board in general is supportive. We want to show that support for the work they've done. The super is done. Again, this is a different philosophical question. I don't want the nuances of this to sidetrack or, you know, give us an off ramp that we don't want. Would you be willing to change the verbiage of your motion?
I understand where you're coming from, Mark. I just want to read this one last thing. I kind of wrote it down, so I might as well read it. The superintendent has the authority to manage the district. Nobody questions that. I don't question that. Is my time up?
Yes.
The board has a responsibility to govern it. When a proposal fundamentally changes the educational program for every middle school student, governance requires that the board have the opportunity to review the rationale, evaluate the educational impact, and determine whether the change aligns with the district's goals and policies, which I believe it does, before the implementation by a vote representing the voice of the people they represent. This is about oversight. This isn't about controlling what the superintendent does day to day. And basically, if we approve this, which I think we would by a vote, we're saying, good job. We're saying, go at it. But not to do that is, it flies in the face of the history of the 20 years I've been over here. So what were you thinking, Mark, as far as an amendment? Because you know what an open-minded
The board
guy
is
I am.
supportive of the schedule as presented. We're supportive.
Yeah. Change adopt to support.
If they wanna change another thing, do they have to come to us again? Like, I don't wanna even be part of that. Like,
Even what you just read doesn't talk about voting to
Well, I mean, everybody
you know,
has
to-
a boss. Everyone has to answer to somebody.
Yeah, and they,
It's barely asking you to vote, to maybe vote to support, not.
adopt.
Are you willing to change the verbiage to support, Jack?
That's what you read. It's what you used as a, as you're trying to make your point. That we have a responsibility to lend our voice to
Can we table this
determine
for
whether
a
or not
bit?
we support it.
No, we really need, they need to know what direction they're going, because we
Well,
need
they're gonna
to.
go in that, either way, they're gonna go in that direction.
Okay.
so don't vote.
So the whole thing is about not having to vote.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so do you,
yeah,
okay,
you know what, let's do support. I
so you
regretfully
want,
will amend that to support.
Okay.
But I think that's a huge, I'm
Well, yeah.
telling you right now, we're abdicating some of our responsibilities. And that's how I feel very strongly
okay,
about
so
that,
we're gonna amend it from adopt to support. All right,
Any further discussion? Yep.
yeah. All right. All
Kelly, would you
those-
be kind enough to read the motion? Just to make
Kelly's
certain.
like, ah.
So the original motion was Mr. Sapia motion to adopt the changes to the middle school UA schedule as delivered by Mitch Mensis tonight. So it will be Mr. Sapia supports to adopt. Supportive.
Adopt needs to be
the
taken
changes
out.
to the middle school UA schedule as delivered by
Okay,
Mitch Mensis.
my second
Adopt has to be
maintains.
taken out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstain.
Abstaining from your own.
701.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
all
I feel strongly
for
about
coming.
it.
My daughter's very excited for this. Thank you guys for putting all the work in for it. Have a good rest of your summer as you have.
Thanks, guys.
You started this by saying, I don't care which way the grass is mowed. You do care which way the grass is mowed, and you've talked about it many times.
I care about the grasses growing.
Yeah, all right.
Drive my tractor down and cut it myself.
Next up is deliberative session.
All right, guys, deliberative session update, to kind of rewind and get everyone back. I believe it starts on page 91 of your packets. To bring you through the process, you had visited the Board of Selectmen with me in the spring. We had asked for kind of their partnership and help in getting that survey out. We had support from all 4 towns. That survey was out and open for about 2 months and closed on June 30th. The results are there in front of you. 525 submissions. The breakdown generally across the board is about 25% of folks still wanting to opt for a Thursday time, 13% of folks opting for a Friday time, and 62% of folks opting for the Saturday time options that were available there. You wanted to see this information and kind of get a dipstick of kind of where the community is at, and then discuss as a board maybe next steps as we think about what date we want to be setting for the deliberative session in 27.
All right, so it looks like Saturday is going to be the day.
Could you just repeat the percentage for Saturday? I think you may have misspoken, Mr. Krieger.
62?
62, okay.
For the combination of 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, the combination.
We had, so again, to be clear, we had 6
Oh,
options.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just
all right.
looking to give
Yep.
high
Thank
level
you.
information. How
Thank
many
you.
folks
Yep.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Again, the
Okay.
times I think were only
I was like,
separated
what
by
did
an
I miss?
hour,
Yeah.
the start times.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, Shauna, go ahead.
So it looks like we had some decent participation from the 4 different towns in the district. So thank you to the folks at home that participated in the survey, because that's really helpful for us. I know as a board, I was the one that wanted it on the agenda for the August meeting, because I think it's important for all of us, meaning the board, the SAU team, the district, as well as the voters, to be able to plan, prepare well in advance. It seems to me that it makes the most sense to move deliberative to a Saturday morning. Rise and shine early. So I'll make a motion to set the deliberative date for Saturday, February 6th
No.
at 9 a.m. 6th? Isn't it the first Saturday? Am I wrong?
Why don't we just make a motion to vote for a Saturday, and then we can
Yes.
coordinate with the
I was
towns
just gonna say that.
to figure out
Oh, you're
which
right.
Saturday. So why don't you just make a motion?
I'll make a
for-
motion to set the day of the week for deliberative to be a Saturday.
I would like to second that.
Saturday at a certain time.
Do you wanna do it?
No,
Okay,
it's
just
second
Saturday
time.
then. Okay, so Shauna made the motion to set the day as a Saturday for deliberative session. Mark seconded. Discussion. Mary Ann, go ahead.
I think we had input from the towns that the first Saturday of the window was their,
Yeah, I think we need to do
Session.
doing it the second.
and we needed the second Saturday of the window. Do you have the date of the window?
That's why I couldn't remember what it was.
So that's also my recollection, but I would want to verify that we're
Yeah.
going back and confirming that with everybody.
But I think, go ahead and making the vote to set it for a Saturday, getting that information, then we can come back, and then that way all the calendars can be updated. And I think, and then we can do the
Yeah,
time at that point as well. So, any other discussion on that?
That's not so much to question it, not to say what it is, but then I'm looking at next year, basically, we evaluate this, how was the turnout
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
this conversation again.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It looked like tea time, so you're gonna be okay?
It's February, man.
Boy, Paul, now it's 2-on-1.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstain. All right, deliver will be Saturday and we'll kind of follow up whenever we can kind of get some dates.
Yeah, I think we'd see him being probably around the board second, but I think we'll have it as an agenda item where we can actually set the date when we bring back some more information about what the actual window is. It might give me the time, a month, to get to the board of selectmen and just verify
Okay,
that theirs are in the first.
that sounds great.
time.
Thank you guys for sending out that evaluation, that survey, and thank you again for all the people that participated so that we could hear your voice. All right, next is elementary enrollment update.
You've got that in front of you. I believe that's page 94,
It is.
perhaps, of your packet. There is no substantial change from the last time in terms of any recommendations from administration at this point. The one thing I do want to point out is that we had a position at Danville that was going to account for a swing position as some classrooms were getting close to capacity. They're still close to capacity, they're not over. And in that same time period, by policy, we've had Pollard rise to a level where we needed a staff member. So we've taken that swing position and moved that over the Pollard. That's the only change that's in front of you, but we have nothing more to suggest or act upon for you at this time. We're just going to simply continue to monitor it through the beginning of school like we would always do. And if there's a point to come back and ask for any change to policy or any other thing we would need to do as a district to provide for the student numbers, we would bring that back for you and make a recommendation.
And just to cap, the swing position at Danville is getting moved to Pollard because Pollard is over class size by policy. But Danville, even though they're full, they're not over policy.
That is exactly correct. It's a policy-driven decision.
Can I just clarify,
yeah, let's go ahead.
what's the position at Pollard? Is it the 5th grade? It's grade 1.
Oh, grade 1.
It was grade 1. They were
Okay.
below 60 with 3 sections, and they went over by 3. As you can see, they're at 63 now. So by policy, they were exceeding 20 students per section, and so we increased.
Okay, thank you.
I realize that's a position that's moving.
Yeah.
Is that a new hire or is that a person who was previously at Danville moving to a different school?
It's a new hire.
It's a new hire.
It's a new hire. We posted it within the past several weeks, and I believe we were hopeful that you would be seeing us a nomination tonight. So we're in the process of hiring and filling that position right now. So.
Any other questions about the enrollment update? All right, moving on. See, we got 2 requests for proposal. First one is going to be the heating oil.
Yeah, I'll present both on behalf of Dr. Martin here.
Okay.
I believe first one is 96 of your packet, and it is for heating oil. Both of these also went through the facilities committee as well, so I don't know if Jack and Mark will also have some input. But with regard to heating oil, it looks like there was, we serve not all of our schools, but the ones we do are identified there. And in compliance with DJE, we're looking to recommend Palmer Gas and Oil to supply home heating oil, and there's a firm price of $3.579 per gallon. This is again an RFP that we received one single bid for.
Does anybody from facilities want to speak to this since this came out of that?
Mark, why don't you, because I think you did
It's
a
more the
long
electric.
range thing, right?
Yeah,
On
with the
that?
electric, not on the oil.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it seems like the what is it? The $3.57 a gallon. That's actually not too terrible.
And it's for a single year.
Yeah. Okay.
Make a motion to approve entering into a 1-year contract with Palmer Gas and Oil for home heating oil at a price of $3.579 per gallon.
Motion by Shauna, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alyssa, any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain, unanimous, okay. And then next, it looks like our Sandown North Day Tank.
Yep, staying on a day tank. So the day tank, what is a day tank? A day tank is a tank that sits above the ground and sees the daytime. So we've got a one that's respective to the age of the building. So it's kind of pushing 20 years. It requires an annual certification by folks that are not school district personnel. So this is a matter of kind of just some discussions with the fire chief that's there, who also serves as that fire marshal. And it's at a point of placement right now that not only our tech feels strongly about what could possibly happen there in terms of fire, but we will not be able to get a signature on it by the person who needs to sign it that says it's in working order. So we're looking to look to the board. We went out, we had one bid. It's at $32,900, and it's to replace that day tank with a double-lined tank.
Anybody from facilities want to talk about it?
There was a good deal of discussion about this and talking with the fire chiefs both in Plastow and Sandown. Essentially, it's a safety and environmental issue. There's one tank outside with one lining, not two linings. So if anything could fail or does fail, it would be quite problematic. We are out of best practices. Our chief for several years has said, hey, it should be better, improve it, but I'll sign off this year. He's done that a couple times, and at this point he's saying, I'm no longer signing off. It needs to be done one way or the other. Unlike other building ordinances, the fire, when it comes to fire and safety, tanks and other equipment are not grandfathered in. So in his opinion, it is his purview, and he's been generous in, stretching it and allowing to go through for the past several years. It's a 20-plus-year-old tank. He's not willing to do it anymore. This is a must, not a want, unfortunately.
Right. You want to make a motion?
Sure. I will make a motion to approve entering into contract with ComTank to replace a single-wall day tank located at Sandown North with a double-walled unit for $32,900.
Motion by Mark, do I have a second? Seconded by Dawn, any other discussion? Yeah, go ahead.
Did I miss an RFP on this?
The RFPs, should have been in the board packet that you should have been able to.
Let me see.
There's the executive summary.
It's linked in the detail. It was linked in
Yeah,
the
it was,
agenda details.
yeah, the one that we would have gotten
Yeah,
beforehand.
I just see that anything mentioned in the executive summary. Okay.
No.
How many
No.
people responded then? Do you know?
Just the one.
Who knows?
That was
Oh,
for,
no.
that was for oil, right?
We had one response for each of the separate.
We had one for oil and we had one for the tank.
Right. Well, yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain. Okay. Moving along to budget to actual report. Ms. Watkins,
Good evening, Maria.
how are you?
You enjoying the meeting?
She always enjoys the meetings.
Drum roll.
So, I present the financial report for the end of the year as of June 2026 for the Timberland Regional School District. I first wanted to know that the dashboard includes. Sorry.
Way to go, Ken.
You weren't warming up on the exercise bike?
Send it to me, Maria? The dashboard?
It's in the agenda.
Oh, it's in the
In
packet.
the agenda. yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't he cute?
It's okay, Dean's trouble.
Dean is perfect. He's in Scandinavia too on his way.
He's always somewhere.
Which page?
It is 98 of the packet. The chart,
Oh, pages.
Go back.
Yeah,
Yep.
right there.
There we go.
94?
Yeah, it's 98 mine, sorry.
Yeah, mine too.
Thank you.
Here.
Thanks. So in fiscal year 2026, we received $75,793,695 in revenue. That is 101% of what was budgeted. And in expenses, we have $82,306,350, which is 99% of our expenses for the year. So basically, we utilized all the money that was apportioned for the district. I want to mention and really express my gratitude to all the employees of the district that help us in one way or another to accomplish this and to stay within our budget, because it was a very challenging year financially. I think it was a collective effort of all of us to make it happen, and I cannot say enough how much I appreciate and how much gratitude I have towards that. The revenue sources were 80% was from taxpayers, 17% was from state and federal sources, and about 3% was from local sources. The actual expenses, salaries counted for 45% of the expenses, benefits counted for 25% of the expenses, and operating expenses counted for 30% of the expenses. Compared to last year, the expenses were almost $4 million lower due to as you all remember, 2025 we prepaid the first phase of the lease, so basically that's what counted for the difference. Going into the cash flow, ended the year with $4.7 million in the budget. This is the other challenge that we have when our budgets are so restricted, because to manage the cash flow is extremely challenging. Ending up the year with $4.5 million in a district this size is very worrying and challenging, because when you look at it, we ended June with $4.5 million in the bank, and then in July, our disbursements were $3.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if we did not receive payments from the town in the month of July, then we wouldn't end up with $1 million in the bank. So that's another thing that I want to mention, because I think it helps for people to understand what the challenge is managing a cash flow when the budgets are so restricted. I don't know if you have any questions about that.
Does anybody have any questions for Maria for the chart and then the cash flow?
Okay, so with that said, our unassigned fund balance this year is $1.1 million, $1,162,786. Basically, what contributed to that unassigned fund balance was the additional revenue that we received over the projected revenue. The main contributors to that were tuition revenue, which was $383,000, Medicaid revenue, which was $234,000 above what we were expecting, special education aid, $135,000, interest income, $135,000, other state and federal, which includes the bill-free grant that we applied for and received. And it also includes another grant that we applied for to get the lead out of the water. That accounted for $50,000. No, I'm sorry, for $50,000. Then we got a couple of refunds from the New Hampshire Retirement System and BOYA, which is the
It's okay.
The benefit that our employees have to put aside money for medical or for childcare. we receive a refund for that as well. And then vocational transportation, we receive an additional $38,000. So basically, $1 million of that unassigned fund balance was additional revenue. So the portion of unassigned fund balance that was directly related to the operations of the district was under $200,000, which is 0.2% of our budget.
And all the additional revenue that racks up to $1 million is stuff that we didn't budget for, right? It went over what we thought it was gonna be.
Yes.
Okay. Talk about threading a needle. Mary Ann, go ahead.
Is the special education aid, that $135,000, is that beyond the unanticipated revenue that we got approval to use? Or
Yes,
is that
so-
part of it?
Yeah, so the state gives us a set amount of, it used to be called catastrophic aid, now it's special education aid, so they give us an amount. And this $135,000 is beyond that. So there are different, probably Justin can speak better to that.
It's both. It's beyond that. And yes, it's exactly, that's the revenue we identified when we wrote to the governor, or sorry, the commissioner about spending additional revenue. Most of that revenue Maria just went over is exactly the revenue we identified to spend if we needed to on required expenses related to special education.
Don, did you have something?
Well, I guess the question is moving forward, you know, what are we looking for in a warrant article to make it so you don't have to luck out like we did at the end of the game? Should we have a 3% Article 13 instead of 2.5%? You know, I mean, what would be? We'll see where we stand at the end of the process, but you know, it's pretty lucky that we ended up being able to make it.
Is this number also before we vote on the encumbrances?
Yes, the budget number that you see for expenses are, includes the encumbrances from last year, yes.
Okay.
So if we take that out of the equation, we went over budget, but because we have the encumbrances, yeah, we pull over into the new year.
Mark.
First of all, remarkable job, kind of scary how tight this all was. And so had it not been for that additional revenue, had you said it would be 0.2%? And what was the recommendation our auditors suggested we end the year with our unexplained or unexpected expenses? Was that in the 5 to 7% range?
Yeah, and actually there is a document for best practices in the school districts, which suggests that a healthy balance to carry is about 12%. So.
And we were at what again?
0.2.
0.2.
Not even a whole one. Jack.
So a couple questions and then just a couple. How much do you think we spent, Justin or Maria, in administering the additional, like how much more time did you guys have to put in day to day, knowing that it was where it was, right? I mean, that comes at a cost.
Not for Maria and I.
Wait, well, it does, because you know what, while you're doing that, you could have been doing something else.
But maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I'm the cost guy. So, and then the other thing is, one of the questions that was asked, how come don't we know on the button, and I think you answered it, the unanticipated revenue, the unanticipated expenses. I mean, think about it, if we had a couple more snowstorms or an event out back with where we had to do some construction, which we typically always do, that would have really put a monkey wrench into the wheel, right? But when you say unexpected revenue, how long, like you brought up the grant for the Belfry, is that really unanticipated, or do we know we're getting it? Explain that, because people are like, how don't we know month to month exactly where the number is? So
could we use the Belfry as an example?
Well, yeah, well, that's why
because it's a great thing about timing.
It's a question that gets asked all the time.
So when we are crafting, they are making the budget projections for revenue, right? We don't know yet, Jack, that we're even going to apply for that grant, right? Or that piece. As it moves through and we apply for it and receive it, when it comes in, it's not expected revenue for us. There's no guarantee it's going to show up. There's no guarantee it's going to show up in the year that we, right? So it's unexpected. We don't know it's coming. If it's going to happen in the same cycle where we're projecting something, then maybe we would want to do that. But the danger for saying you're going to get it and it doesn't come in.
Well, it's happened to us.
Right. So like that's kind of the balance that you want to play, but it's unexpected if it's not happening in the same cycle.
And I still go back to that RSA that says if the state mandates, it's been a thorn in my side now. If the state mandates us to do something, that there is an RSA that says they have to fund it. You had that same smile on your face the last time I said that. But it does exist. And is there any way we could force that? I'm sure there is, and also it would be being done. But I think I gave everyone the RSA, and I'm like, state mandates something, they have to fund it. And why is that not exercised?
It's a large discussion across public education about why there are unfunded mandates. There's a great deal of them.
All right, it seems like they're in violation of their own.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so, but I, again, for those people that say, when it comes to this, there was $1 million left over. Well, that was after a lot of cutting, a lot of hard work, and let me ask you this. Were there things we went without that we should have had, and could you identify a few of those things if in fact they
Several
exist?
staff members.
I'm not talking to you right now.
What I'd rather do is come back and report out, I think as we had talked about before, there's really two cycles to this. There's what did we reduce to align to the voted budget? And then there's what did we not do within the fiscal year this year so we can move to get to this endpoint where we surfaced above water.
I mean, I guess my point is, and I watched some deliberatives over the last, because I got nothing better to do with my life. You know, there are people who walk out and say, we can run the district for 50 million. No, the number's 71. And I don't want anyone to have the false idea that this was just something, see, they did it. They pulled it off. We can do it again. As we said the other day, we're here to educate kids. We have unfunded mandates that that legally we have got to do. And we ignored things on the facility side for 40 years, and that caught up to us. If you look at the interest, and inflation, how much I can look at what we've done over the last 5 to 6 years and say, it cost us $40 million, right? It'd be nice to have that. So anyways, well, it'd be nice if the residents didn't have to expend that money. That's a better way of putting it. Thank you, Maria.
Marianne?
On the unassigned fund balance, why is that fiscal year 26 encumbrances different from the encumbrances that are on the next page that you're gonna ask us to approve?
Because of the way the encumbrances that you approve in 25 to bring over to 26. The encumbrances that I'm gonna ask you to approve today are the encumbrances that are gonna go into 27.
So that encumbrances piece goes back 2 years then?
So when so 1 year you encumbered, and on that year, on that following year that you encumbered, the ones from the prior year come back of the come out of the financial statements, and the ones for that year increase the budget.
By that amount.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Maria? Thank you guys for all the work that you did with this year. That was threading very small.
Also, with that said, this year is the last year that you guys have the option to retain any of that fund balance. because of the bills that passed. That is no longer an option, but this year I confirmed with the DRA, the Division of Revenue Administration, that is the last year that you guys can make the decision to retain any of that. We can retain up until 1,493,000. So you have the ability to retain any of that fund balance for emergencies. So I just put it out there for your consideration if you will consider that.
Just a little history, I think that I wrote to you before, is that this is the warrant that passed this year. You had the ability to retain some. There was a citizen's petition to kind of move against that. There were some clarity issues about whether, what people meant, but you've got the ability to retain up to 2.5% moving forward, and Maria's given you that dollar figure.
Do we have to decide tonight, or can we decide, or is it another?
No, you can decide in September, not after September,
But we could do it in September, that like.
It has to be decided before we set up
Okay.
tax rates, so.
Okay.
Does that mean that on this date-ish next year, we're not talking about this 2.5% retention?
Correct.
Correct, not an option.
Alright, so this comes back to the taxpayers in some form or another. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit delayed, and I understand every penny is important to taxpayers and to the schools and everything. I just wanted to get a mental picture. Because when we can't do it, it's just right back pretty much, right? Other than encumbrances.
So I want to be clear that you've got the same information, I think, or understanding we do, right? And if you retain something, Paul, you could let it, I believe, sit there all year and then lapse back to taxpayers.
Right.
You could also take a vote of the board, or actually you could hold a public hearing.
Yeah.
Let them know what you want to use the money for, take a vote of the board to do that. So you can also use that money for anything that comes up in the future as well. By retaining it, the voters have they've already given you the authority to spend it. So if you retain it, you don't need to go back to the voters and ask their permission to spend it. You need to inform them what you're going to do, and you need to hold a vote to verify that. But you've got two options to do, or you can let it just purely offset the tax rate.
So I would just say for the board, I would very much probably like to do this in like September, maybe the first meeting in September. That way it gives the board plenty of time to meet with Maria and Justin and talk and ask their questions. That way we can make a decision on that day, because like what they said, this is the last year we can do it. We came in at 0.2%. That's not much of a safety net. So is the board okay with doing that, waiting till September?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you guys need anything other information from us at that September meeting to help with that conversation or decision? Any info that might be helpful?
Well, by September, this might not have any change on what you just said, but we will have already written a check for $1 million payment to the lease? No? Or what's the thing there that you had talked about earlier? So we couldn't carry over, the invoice came out in June, was due in July.
Correct.
So where is that going in this
So
carryover thing?
So we are using, you gotta help me with this after talking to the auditors. I don't.
She's like,
I don't understand it.
That is just an accounting entry. It was an audit entry
Okay.
to allocate the payment that we did in June to July, because it is due in July. So basically we're caught up with our lease payments as of July of 26, which is fiscal year 27.
All right, so yeah, so the money's gone either way, but it's this current year's budget that came out of.
Yes, it's gonna come out of this current year.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, that clears it up for me.
okay, so I would just say between now and that September, if anybody has any questions, just email them either directly to Justin and Maria or me and Mark, whatever you want to do. That way, that meeting, we can kind of make a decision and see where we want to go from there. Okay. Any other questions about the cash flow, any of the charts, or in the unassigned fund balance that Maria's presented so far today? All right, moving on to encumbrances.
So as every year, we are requesting for you to approve the encumbrances. Just to remind everybody, these encumbrances, they have to fall into certain criteria. The main one is that we do have to have a contract or a bounding contract to be able to encumber this. This year, they are the lowest that I have ever seen them since I work here is $366,875.35. And they are, again, each of them has a contract or a purchase orders that bind us to that obligation.
Any questions about the encumbrances?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026 encumbrances in the amount of $366,875.35.
Motion by Mark, do I have a second? Second by Paul. Any discussion? All right, and then I think on the next page you have where the list with the account numbers and everything. Okay. Any other discussion on this? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained, unanimous. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you. All right.
Thanks so much, Maria.
Whew, we're at M, guys. School board goals.
I did not receive them.
I sent them.
Was she on that email?
I sent them to her this morning.
Oh,
But then,
sorry.
no, it's okay, but then also Marianne, didn't you send an
Yeah,
email
I
as
sent them
well?
yesterday, I think.
I was on vacation.
It's okay, but I think.
Sorry.
No,
I'm so
it's fine,
sorry.
it's okay, we've got it on
Email
our
it.
phones, we can talk about it, but I think
We can
Sandy.
pull it up on the TV if you want.
Yeah, well, Sandy and Justin are talking.
Ken's on it.
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
I'll look at my email and
channel.
finish it. I'll put it in the Google Drive.
But at one of our previous workshops, we had asked Justin and Sandy to kind of review our current goals that we have and just kind of give a summary of what they thought about them, what the, operationalizing them. And so let you guys do that while they're pulling up the goals.
Awesome. Well, I am going to have Sandy walk through kind of a status report of the 4 pieces of the learning goals. And then I will run through the remaining 8 pieces there. And again, this is just kind of our feedback of kind of really kind of our checking in about where we think we stand on some of these pieces.
Came from me, Cal.
Thank you. So,
This morning.
Sorry, Sandy, go ahead.
no, that's okay. I want to make sure you're all ready. Okay. So, I think the document that you were looking at right now, those are draft goals, I believe. I'll be speaking to your goals from last year.
Yes, that's what it
Through
was.
a reflective
Yes.
process. So just want to acknowledge that what you're looking at is not what I'll be speaking to.
Correct.
Thank you, Ken.
So, although it looks like there is similarity. So, just in the learning area of the school board goals from 2025, 2026, the first goal was connected to enhancing personalized learning through a variety of different learning pathways. Those include ELOs, dual enrollment, AP courses, SEL, CTE, and the wording was also to expand on that through policy and budgetary development, implementation as reported by administration. So I would say this goal, just as feedback, aligned very well with the work that we had been in process of, that we worked on last year, that we will continue to work on in the coming year. Just a few things of note. Some of this data, I think we've been fortunate to have Danielle Foley come here multiple times to update us on the status of extended learning opportunities, evening division. She talked about HiSET programming. She has talked to us somewhat about CTE. We've had students come and speak to their experience, and we even were fortunate to have parents come and talk to us about that. From a data perspective, you may remember, and it should be posted on the website, but it's certainly in a board packet. On January 22nd, I brought you some updated data in the form of an academic dashboard that looked similar to the financial dashboard that you see every month. But some of that data referenced how we have expanded some of those programs. So just capturing a few of those things, because I really want to highlight this, and it will continue to be an area of focus. We expanded our extending learning opportunities at the high school in 2022-23 from 14 to 31 in 23-24 to 43 in 24-25. And those were the 3 years of data that we reported on to you this past year. We'll continue to update that over the coming year. Should this continue to be a goal? Should it not be an ongoing school board goal? It will still continue to be an area of focus for us in learning. CTE likewise has expanded exponentially as well. Just want to acknowledge that our ability to expand CTE programming is limited by the number of seats that we as a district can access at our regional CTE centers at Salem and Pinkerton Academy. So just want to recognize that. So we feel that we had a high level of success in accomplishing this goal. That said, it will still continue to be an area of focus. Another piece that the school spoke to is policy. I just want to recognize that you as a board had the opportunity to review through the 306 changes that we spoke to you multiple times about. There were multiple policies that came to you regarding extended learning opportunities, alternative pathways, requirements that are now in place at the state level through policy that we are in complete compliance with. I feel that we are in very good shape. In many cases, I think we are ahead of other districts in implementing policy. So as a board goal related to your approval of policies connected to mandates that connect to RSA and educational requirements, I'd say we have met that. But again, this will be ongoing work. The second goal was around professional development opportunities that align with enhancing personalized learning. That again will be an ongoing goal. We plan our PD, we try to take staff input, but at the same time move forward with the work that we've been doing for multiple years around universal design for learning, multi-tiered systems of support. Those are both structures and systems that we've been working on for several years. They connect to our strategic plan, but they really help us to promote and ensure that we're providing levels of personalization instructionally for all students. So again, that will continue to be an ongoing goal for us in the curriculum lens. So that is, I'd say, in progress, but also met regarding our annual goals that we set for ourselves. Number 3 was monitoring the alignment of district-wide instruction, assessment, and reporting to build consistency. That has been an ongoing goal. It will remain one. I really like to highlight within this some of the language around assessment and reporting to really focus in on the work that we've been doing around competency-based education, also connected to the ED 306 rules that are the minimum standards for school approval. We will be moving forward in 2 weeks once we open our schools with competencies for credit at the high school. We've talked a lot about that. We've invested a lot of time in professional development and collaboration and things of that nature to make sure that our teachers feel equipped to flip the switch on this coming year. They will have additional time 2 weeks from now on our PD days to dig into that again. So again, ongoing, but we feel that we're in a good position to say that we met that goal last year regarding all of the work that came with the 306s, which was extensive. And lastly, in learning, the last one was around identifying a comparison group of New Hampshire school districts to look at our state assessment and achievement data. We've been doing that for 5 years. I've been using the same set of 25 school districts that are really in the southern tier of the state. They range as far west as Ware, they range as far east as Exeter, Portsmouth, and we compare ourselves obviously against the state average. But you had a formal presentation on January 22nd. We'll continue to monitor our performance with the data that is available to us. We're starting to dig into that right now. State assessment data is still embargoed. It will remain so for a couple months. But once we have that available, we will once again bring that back to you next year and report our performance against that same set of schools across the district to see how we are doing. So that's my update for learning.
Did anybody have any questions for Sandy and what she talked about our board goals met, ongoing? Okay.
Well, just to
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Even today's presentation about the WIN program, the changes there are evidence of us expanding that, personalization piece, consistent with our goal.
Yeah, good point, Don. Thank you, Sandy. Justin?
You have 8 more goals, or had 8 more goals, I guess. So feedback on the 2 for personnel, evaluating the performance of the SAU. I think you've had that, specifically that evaluation of me those last years, and I think we've talked through some ideas of how to maybe improve and continue that system of feedback and evaluation. I think you've definitely been involved in the reorganization of the school district. Think about the addition of some positions, facilitators, special education, and social workers. think about the reorganization of some of the SAU pieces here, and all the while kind of maintaining and the challenge of going through reductions in forces, including at the administrative level. So I think that is something that you're going to want to continue to do, is to evaluate how the district is organized. So I think that's an ongoing piece. I wanted to point out some of those pieces that I think you've checked off. In terms of ensuring implementation of our organizational chart, that is something that we have done and shown you. In terms of succession plan, we have much more of a preliminary one along 3 or 4 levels of lines of support. We've also used that to step up in vacancies across the district as well. But in terms of using job descriptions and having robust analytics for staff, and those are things that we need to be able to improve on, to be able to report to you how those evaluation systems are working. It is something Sandy and I continually talk about. Communities and connections and pieces. The first one there is about exploring alternative methods for district efficacy. And I'm pointing out some of the things that Sandy did before about the learning dashboard that she made and all the other ways that we can kind of bring to you that you've seen over the course of the years, ways that the district is successful. One of the ways that we are absolutely trying to do that is to have people share their own experiences with you, whether it's a student or a staff or a family. And we're hoping that those real live anecdotal things are data points that we can't collect otherwise, and they only come through conversations. We want to continue to do those, and we hope that those are informative to you. In terms of engaging families, I think we've checked that off. It's a thing that's happening here. I think it's in the culture. Our administrators are used to be able to bring people forward, though. So if that disappears from the board goal, that's going to continue to be something that Sandy and I would want to bring here. Increasing engagement with stakeholders. You guys a year ago had the subcommittee, not a subcommittee, but you had some open sessions during the budget cycle for school board members where you had drop-in sessions. Pointing that out, maybe we continue to do that. But I think the next big opportunity is what the Board of Selectmen has opened up for us in my last visits about more partnering with the school district and having education system with residents around school district issues. So I think that could be something where we extend that, or you can extend that into the towns itself, and we can do that together. And lastly there for community is develop opportunities for parents, students, staff, stakeholders to engage around mental health and wellness. We are clearly on the out front with that week that we organize over at the high school, which is now becoming more district-wide. And I think what's happened is as teachers and staff see your guys' support of what's happened at the high school, it allows them to dovetail off and build onto those things. So it is truly now a district event versus just a high school event. So things that you can show up, maybe run the 5K, do those things I think would be helpful. Facilities and learning environments. It's funny to read these right now. Adopt and monitor current budget and identifying concerns that may impact student learning spaces. The board is at its conclusion of expending $25 million through the lease piece. I think the next stage is about planning what we need to do year to year so the district isn't in a position where it has to get all eggs in a basket 20 years from now. And I think there are people here on this group that want to do that and can have some skill sets to help us do that. And then lastly, ensuring a district-wide maintenance schedule. This has a huge plus sign next to it. This is something we need to do. We don't have this right now. We don't have a long-term maintenance plan. We're working on it. It's been a long time in terms of having people here and not here and here and not here. I think we are now staffed and set up to do this with you. But it's 2 bullet point number 1 there too is we got to get together and figure out what's the next step in terms of long range planning. Particularly, how do we protect all the investment we've just done? Right.
Anybody have any comments about what Justin talked about?
Just to that point, I thought we did an audit to give us direction to do exactly that. If we still have that.
We did,
So you have something to-
and there were things that were tagged and with barcodes on them so that they'd automatically be reminded. I think Justin may have been referring to something that was a bit more holistic and larger rather than individual pieces of equipment.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Much more, not a maintenance schedule for things or how we're going to service individual items, but what is this plan in terms of long range planning for facilities? We do not have that.
Well, there are other audit tools to do exactly that. That you can get help even from probably UNH because they help educate, people in their administration program to use those, to kind of get consensus about what the direction of the district is going to be, and to give an estimate of what it would take, to get there. I think you have to have a tool to work with if you're going to do that work, and start to think about long-term, planning, long-term work.
Jack.
Yeah, so I had a document and it was pretty insightful, and it spoke to facilities and doing those deep dives and those 30-year forecasts, and you can do it yourself. You can hire firms to come in and do it. I mean, it can be a very, very deep and extensive dive. It really comes down to how much you want to invest on the front end. And so maybe maybe it's the time, if that's what we want to dedicate ourselves to, is to looking into those options to say, okay, how much do we want to commit to doing this? And I think the return on the back end justifies doing whatever we got to do. But, there are some realities around that as well. So, I'll share that document with you guys. It's great stuff.
All right. Any other comments about what Justin and Sandy reported out about our current goals? If not, we're gonna, go ahead, Sean, sorry.
No, I just thank you for this. This is really helpful. I know I've been kind of asking for this for a little bit. I would love to see this be something that we do annually from now on, like getting this update. So before we consider our goals, that we have some time and consideration. It would be really great if maybe even an executive summary or a couple of bullet points for each goal going forward, so that as board members change over, at least it's like a document that shows a little bit of historical knowledge of past, present, and ongoing things that have been going on. That's all I want to say. This was really great and very helpful. Thank you.
Right. So those were our current goals. It seems like we've accomplished quite a bit. And then there's also some that if we decide, no, we're not going to do that, you guys are going to continue doing it anyways. So,
well,
with your support.
Well,
is it safe to say that given that it was a goal and a goal was met, it is now a practice for the district?
I like that language.
Mm-hmm. Nice language, Shauna. But in saying that, up on the board, Shauna also, everything we talked about is really well written up here. Shauna, do you want to talk about how you broke these up and how you came to these?
Me? I mean, it was really about the last meeting where we had some collaborative conversation, reviewing sort of the other plethora of goals and trying to streamline the process more into sort of those three headings based on the folks that were present for that particular meeting. The big focus being learning, community connection, and communication, and then facilities and learning environments. We felt like those were sort of the three top areas of target for goals. And really what I did was just jot down a bunch of notes that people were saying, things that had gone well. Basically, in terms of goals, they're either met, ongoing, partially met, or need to be revised. And so essentially what we did was we had a conversation about some of the things that we wanted to revise and some things that are now current practice in the district that we want to continue to be a goal to continue to extend. And so essentially that's what I did, was just try and capture all of that conversation and create three goals. And they are meaty. However, I know they really are, but I feel like they capture, based on the heading that they're under, they encapsulate a lot of the areas that have been concerns for the board and the community, as well as things that are going really well in the district that we'd love to see some continuation and expansion on.
Marianne, I know you had one comment. You've been emailing about it. Did you want one of the goals that you thought about?
Yeah, so my one thought was the one under community connection and communication. That to me, that's really two separate things there, strengthening engagement with all member communities and stakeholders as one, and then maintain a sustainable financial approach that balances educational excellence, taxpayer affordability, and long-term viability of the district. To me, making them into one might make it appear that the engagement piece is really about the financial issues.
That was
and
intentional.
not so much about educational excellence. So I think we need to engage with all member communities for everything, not just financials.
What was your intentional thing, Shauna?
So the intent was exactly what you just said, that unless those communications are strong and holding, then the educational excellence and the sustainable financial approach isn't gonna happen. It won't sustain long term. So it can certainly revise to be more intentional, but that, we have the same intention.
It's not, to me, it doesn't, reek of looking for ways to get a whole lot of money. It's more a matter of getting enough people involved so you have a representation of the needs and goals of the district in terms of the quality of education we can afford.
That's what I was trying to convey, but
So I think it's great.
Mary Ann, with that better explanation, does that help you, or are you still wanting to have something change with it? Because I think the way that she's written it and the way that I think it's the same thing. It's just the way you two are seeing it.
So
I may have a suggestion for Mary Ann, if I could. If we cross out the beginning and just say maintain a sustainable financial approach that balances educational experience, taxpayer affordability, long-term viability of the district, period. To these ends, strengthen engagement with all member communities and stakeholders. In other words, explain why we're doing it. I think it's a cart horse thing.
Yeah, I think the way it's written emphasizes the engagement and it puts the meat,
Right.
what I consider meat, as a separate part. I thought about what I was proposing, and I thought if we could have 4 goals, and one being long-term viability of the district, and this might tie in with the district-wide maintenance plan that you're talking about, but I didn't put that in because I hadn't thought of that. Long-term viability of the district, maintain a sustainable financial approach that balances educational excellence and taxpayer affordability. And then just separately, the community connection and communication, strengthen engagement with all member communities and stakeholders, and maybe put something at the end that just encapsulates everything, because we really want engagement with stakeholders and communities on everything we do. We want involvement from the staff and the parents and the students on educational excellence, and we want input from residents, taxpayers on financial aspects, and also to know what's going on. So I think, that piece kind of, for me, stands alone.
So I think what you're looking for is you like the strength engagement with all member communities and stakeholders. You also like the maintaining a sustainable financial approach. I think what you're looking for is something in between, right? That's like, because you're wanting what's something that could be that one goal that's like what you're talking about. But I think the way that Shauna has written it, the verbiage that she used, I mean, strength engagement with all member communities and stakeholders.
I think you look at, you're trying to have the why. Why do you want to have good communication?
Yeah.
So you can build the district you want.
Right.
That meets everybody's needs at a cost we can afford. I mean, I think it's a good bridge. I think it's a good way to go, is to talk with the idea of getting important people in the room, stakeholders in the room to be a part of that process, to understand what's at stake and how much it's going to cost and what does it mean, to be able to provide a good education to kids, in terms of what it's going to cost.
Mary,
Mark and Jack.
how about we maintain a sustainable financial approach, continue it, and then just lost it. Dang it.
It's all right.
I just divided
Increase
it into two.
Yeah, then then put increase engagement with all member communities and stakeholders at the end as a separate sentence.
Hold on, Jack, and then Paul. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I might be totally off on everybody's intent here.
No, you're good.
But if we change the word while, for me anyway, I cross that out, but in order to, because maintain, and only I'm disagreeing with you slightly, only I get what you're saying, and I believe in it. But for a goal, I'm thinking, this is very intentional. We end up at these deliberative sessions with like, there's a rah, and it's just it just gets loud and it's rooting for laundry and it's not as productive as it could be. However, if we did strengthen the engagement with all member communities and stakeholders, in order to maintain a sustainable financial approach, because that's the big thing for the communities. It balances educational excellence, taxpayer affordability, and long-term viability of the district. It kind of encompasses all those things. Even though they're not pointed out, I get what you're saying. You want engagement and communication and everything.
I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's just that I think that's very specifically worded or intended to say, let's not argue about every single dollar.
Semantics,
Somebody come walking, I slash 20 million, you guys will figure it out. Or I want to add 20 million. We need to be educated and engaged and show what we're doing and show what we need. Not everybody's going to agree, I get it. But I don't know, I think that.
So you say, I think that's a good point, Paul. I think if we take out while and do in order to maintain, I think that, to me, that feels like it's got more teeth in it.
That sounds good to me, connecting it that way.
Or to ensure.
My question is, this is a school board goal, right?
Mhm.
What are we going to do? Do we have ideas about what we're going to do to accomplish this goal?
Yeah, so the goals are meant to be kind of broad sweeping, and then that's when they take our goals and they come up with some, and in concurrence with us, like, so we looked at, doing one of the things that we did was during budget season, we were like, okay, hey, in order to better communicate, let's do these drop-in office hours. That was one of it, and that kind of concludes the goal.
So if it's a board goal, we don't turn it over to the administration to do.
They operationalize our goals.
So we kind of do turn it over.
Yeah, Jack, go ahead.
So I was going right where you're going. Here are some, and I'm not being Debbie the Downer here, but here are some realities. Probably about 85% of the people, unless you have a kid in the district, and those people have kids in the district, the specific, right where those kids are. I keep telling people, when your kids are in grammar school, be looking at middle school. When your kids are in middle school, be looking at the high school, because before you know it, it's over, right? So I can't even get parents who have kids that are engaged in school to stay focused. So the question is, how do you implement this? 70% of our budget is salaries. It's out of our control, right? So that's a challenge. As we're sitting here, I like finding solutions to problems. I'm like, should we put together another committee that's called the Communications Committee? To your point, it's a school board goal. So should we be, because we're not going to talk about outreach at every one of our meetings.
Right.
Do I think it's important? Yes, I do. Do we put together something with the administration and come up with, I don't care, a fair is like a big event. And I've been preaching out, that's a way to communicate and get people involved, maybe in a fun way. Sandy, you had talked about putting up, if we did the fair, educational booths. Well, I don't know if you remember doing that, but when we had someone else here, you were like, oh yeah, you did. So I'm just wondering, with 70%, and I know I'm going long, Mary Ann, I'm sorry, 70% of our budget being fixed, how much control do we actually have? The communication expert, unless we're committed to it, it's one of those things that you say, I'm not into this little, well, let's kind of do. And then after deliberative session's over, to Paul's point, they come back to fight next year.
We did have the meetings with all the towns, multiple times, Justin.
Yeah.
These are
No,
things.
those are good.
Yeah, those would be examples for me, but I don't think they're our goals.
Shauna and then Don.
I was going to say that you're going as a representative of your town to your selectmen's meetings and having an open dialogue, having to ask questions about what's going on, what's interesting to them, what are they concerned about, or giving them a report, as superintendent has done in each town, and in many cases with board members, there to support that conversation or take part, depending on how it goes. I think that's an important aspect of it. But I have seen this school board in previous decades attend with a table and artifacts for people to look at, the old home days and things like that in each town. being a presence in your town for who we are as a board and what we're doing as a district, and encouraging feedback, suggestion box, displaying, some of the artwork or, things that were created in the shop or whatever it is. Those things go a long way to communicating, kind of randomly, people who are in your town. So, I think there's a lot to be said for that type of outreach.
Yeah. Shauna?
So to circle back.
But back to
So
Thanks, Don.
the process of this is for us to, and this is something that I had mentioned in the last two meetings as well, is to set these goals, and then the hope being that our administration takes the new set of goals and comes up with their own benchmarks and comes back to us and checks in, because I think one of the biggest things is how they're interpreting our goals as well. That's been a conversation of, we're setting this goal, how do you interpret it? Let's continue to have conversation, because then our role as the board, just like Jack was saying, is to say, like, now what's next, right? Like, so that's great that you're addressing this, but can we beef this up so that it's more in a collaborative manner? So I think we just did like our little State of the Union, our annual review of our goals. But my hope would be that there would be quarter check-ins from now through the rest of the year, so that we can continue, like Jack said, to have oversight and collaboration on these goals. Because at this point, we're setting the goal and we're asking you to interpret them with your teams and come up with benchmarks and come back to us. And I think we're going to continue to have these conversations about community engagement committees and other different ways and mechanisms for all of us to work collaboratively to get this accomplished.
Yeah, I believe you need an action plan to match the goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you just described.
Yep.
And that's what we're asking for anyway from our district employees, to have goals, have a way to make a plan to meet those goals and have those things known. So I think we're on the right track there.
All right, so for the goals on the community one, we're gonna change while to in order to maintain. Does anyone else have any other questions? And just because we vote on these goals tonight, throughout the year, we can revisit them at any point. We can add things. If we're like, ooh, maybe those were too broad reaching, that one of the check-ins, they're like, that's too broad reaching. Maybe we need to get something that's a little bit more, we can absolutely do that. So these aren't just concrete, but this is, we have pushed this. We usually do this in June so that they can do that. They can make their goals to operationalize our goals. So we do need to at least do something with this tonight. And then if we feel like we need to revisit this later on throughout the year at the first check-in, then I think that would be a better thing. But at least that way they have direction. So what is
Motion here? Or?
Yeah.
But so I'll make a motion to accept the Timberland School Board goals as revised, to eliminate while maintaining and put in order to maintain.
Do I have a second? Seconded by Mark. Any other discussion?
We'll change the title to 26-27.
Oh,
Yes, sorry, change the title to 20.
Thanks, Mary Ann.
I did it on the,
stickler.
I did it as I saved the document, but didn't edit the document.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstain. All right, guys, we got through a very long agenda. We did, it was a very good discussion. Good job, everyone. Now we're to administrator's report.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have to break your momentum, but we got I think, maybe 62 items.
Fine.
Sure said like 17 at least.
Sandy's got one item to run through with you. We have a new teacher induction next week, so we want to just brief you on that. And I do not have 62. I have two.
Hold on. First of all, I was congratulating us, not you two.
Oh.
Carry on.
We have a very short list to report out today too. I will start with Sandy just to highlight new teacher induction.
I will keep it very brief. Justin already announced. So next Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be welcoming all of our new teachers who are able to attend to 2 full days of induction. It is our formal welcome to the district. They receive some high-level training and information ranging from everything on how to log into the different systems that we use to manage our learning systems with students, all the way to curriculum documents, assessment development, working with a mentor, exploring their buildings and all of the above. They get a tour, a virtual tour of the district and all of the schools, regardless of the school that they will be working in. So, and I just want to also emphasize that program, our mentoring and new teacher induction program, is almost completely grant funded through the Title IIA federal grant. And that is an annual application that we write. And so we are fortunate that we've been able to sustain that. So we're looking forward to having them come. Yes.
Real fast question, just circling back. It's a grant we're applying for. Been lucky enough, it's well written enough, we've received monies for those. Would those in general be included with the unexpected revenue because we don't budget in to receive that?
I think the answer is no. Well, but I'm not sure because it is a program that we've maintained through the title grant funding. We do have to reapply every year. I will tell you that the parameters change every year. So in any case.
Okay.
Remember the three funds of your school district. You have your general fund, and then you've got your grant funds, and you have your food service fund. And they all three total together, that's the total school district fund. But it depends on how we're talking about it, Mark.
I guess I was saying if that hadn't been received, would that 0.2% be 0.198%?
If it wasn't received,
yes,
we would not be able to run
That's
that
right.
program.
then we wouldn't be able to run. Okay, understood.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we are able to access those grant funds to supplement what we provide, not to supplant. So that is a key and fundamental rule around federal funding. That is grant funding. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
This is a perfect segue. So we just went over board goals about community connection and about engaging with the community and figuring out like how to make this work. I think it's my job to tell you there are two opportunities coming up where you can engage with the community. And I think it may be your job to say, hey, is that something I can do? So the first day is August 18th. If you've got any time during that day, you could just RSVP to Kelly, and Sandy and I will work out some way that you can get in there and engage with some of the new staff that are there. Preferably, we'd like to do it in the AM to have all you guys there at once if you're able to do, but it would be powerful if we could introduce a few of you and you could spend some time talking with them and maybe giving them some direction and welcoming them to the district. Second opportunity is on opening day. A lot of you have attended this before. This will be the day that we're all at the PAC with the staff this year. So every person that works in our district is in one physical location and we're able to kind of rally everyone and set the course. That will be August 26th. I don't have an exact time for you, but I think that it may be around 10 a.m. And I think you could budget an hour or an hour and a half for that time, and you'd certainly be invited to stay for lunch after that. Also, please RSVP to Kelly just so we can plan and announce your attendance and make sure the staff are there. Other kind of just quick hits. Pollard, construction is rolling. We are still on target to open and have staff back in there on August 20th. There have been no interruptions or delays or setbacks, so we are still projecting that date.
That'll be nice.
A lot of people working
From
really
what I
hard.
saw.
I shared the budget committee schedule with you previously, but I wanted to just highlight for you those two important dates that we have set and established as joint meetings with the school board. Again, those are September 24th and November 23rd. September 24th, November 24th, joint meetings with the budget committee. I wrote to you about House Bill 1300 that is now law.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about that publicly yet, but I did want to at least do it here so the community understands that there will be a tax cap that will be put in front of voters at the New Hampshire general election, both in 2026 in November and 2028 in November. It's similar to what we've seen through the school district voting process at our annual meetings when we've had citizen petition or warrant articles for a tax cap. The difference here is that this will not be presented through the typical school district process annual meeting through our designation as an SB2 community, but will instead be part of the New Hampshire general election. What it will look to do is cap the current year or the planned year spending at the last tax levy rate. And then it will adjust for two occasions, anything to do with inflation and anything to do with construction. That law also caps SAU spending and what a district can expend on its SAU facilities, and also has some language around bonds. I've shared with you your district legal counsel's interpretation of that and the things that are known right now, and some of also those open questions, but really pointing out the challenge that we're going to have with the incongruent timelines with regard to how the election process will unfold and how our school district budget and SB2 process unfolds. So something we got to get our heads around, that we're going to work through it with the budget committee. I've also shared that same information with them. I've also shared it with the Board of Selectmen, because I think that this could also be another engagement for us as a team to be working with the boards to understand that they, as their town, are holding these elections, that we get to speak to the potential impact for the school district. We had our admin meeting time this week, so we had 3 days together, full admin team together. I would like to let you know that the general consensus was that people left that after 3 days not feeling too overwhelmed, which I couldn't believe, because we talked about some legal sessions with your legal counsel and went over some legislative changes. We dedicated some times to branching minds and how we're going to roll out collectively our MTSS piece. We met with members of the New Hampshire Attorney General's office and did some anti-discrimination work as a team. We talked about tone and expectations as a group of administrators about how we work together and how we talk about kids and how we talk about families. We did some work with HR, looking at some contractual updates to make sure we're all on the same page with that. We reviewed our financials that we reviewed with you this evening, so all of our board is on that. We met with Katie Pagnotta around her work with our book study with her admin team about brain and body work. We had some special education work with Ginger and her team, and Mark led us through some safety and some reunification stuff. That is not an exhaustive admin time over 3 days, but I think it's a very strategic piece and very well time spent here on campus working together as a group, because we are welcoming kids. There's no special day today, right? 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, we'll have students in the building on day one of their school. So we're looking forward to welcoming them when they arrive.
I look forward to giving my feral child back.
Let the record show.
That's it for me.
Oh, all right, cool. Personnel report. So over the summer, it's board policy that because we're not meeting, that there is 3 board members that sign nomination and resignation. We do have to read them into the record. Yeah, Shawna, you got it? Okay.
So please include in the meeting minutes the following names provided on the electronically signed personnel reports dated June 24th and June 26th, July 7th, 10th, 14th, 21st, and July 24th, 2026. The professional nominations of Brian Benson, science teacher, Timberlane High School, Natasha Bebo, elementary teacher, Danville Elementary, Taylor Donovan, school counselor, Timberlane Middle School, Jessica Winter, English teacher, Timberlane Middle School, Samantha Cahill, elementary teacher, Sandown North, Amy Champion, elementary teacher, Sandown North, Crystal Zimanolis, ELA enrichment teacher, Timberlane Middle School, Charles Angwin, out of district coordinator, district, Lisa Cartwright, special education teacher, Timberlane Middle School, Leanna Perkins, elementary teacher, Danville Elementary, and Alexandra Proto, social studies teacher, Timberlane High School. Professional resignations. Kimberly Rivers, early childhood coordinator, TLC. Ashley Sarney, ELA elementary teacher. Oh, that doesn't look right. ELA teacher, Timberlane Middle School. Jennifer Toth, library media specialist, Atkinson Academy. Elise Merrill, elementary teacher, Danville Elementary. Alexandra Stevens, social studies teacher, Timberlane High School. Nicole DeSantis, elementary teacher, Danville Elementary. renomination of Wendy Bowen kindergarten teacher, Pollard School.
And then we have.
And I make a motion to accept the professional nomination of Amanda Bonaventura, elementary teacher, Pollard School, and the professional resignations of Danielle Morrison, special education facilitator, Timberlane Middle School, and Jamie Dupuis, special education teacher, Sandown North.
I have a motion by Shauna. Do I have a second? Oh, second by Alyssa. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain. All right, very well done, Shauna. Thank you so much.
Welcome aboard, and thank you for your commitment to our students. Those are moving on.
All right, committee reports. Mary Ann, I'll start with you.
So curriculum and assessment had a long meeting where we talked about the middle school change. Also, we're reviewing curriculum that will be coming to the board next month, maybe after our next second read. So it was a very productive meeting, even during the summer when there were some people on vacations. And I had the opportunity to attend a CIP meeting, which I'm sure Jack will talk about instead. Sorry, that's all I have.
I have nothing new.
Alyssa?
Nothing new.
Shauna?
I don't have a committee report, but I do have a school board member report as I went to visit our extended school year programs this year. So I was able to go to TLC and see the younger friends over on that side of our district. And I saw so many amazing things while I was there. Smiles, a lot of tears, because we have some of our younger population that are transitioning into the 3-year-old classrooms there. But what I saw was a lot of collaboration and a lot of educators working together to build connections with kiddos early on so that the start of their school year is going to be a better transition for them. And I saw a lot of smiles. I got some hugs, which was super exciting. And then I was able to go over to the middle school the next day and see even more with some of our older kiddos and populations. There was a lot of really cool programming happening over there in terms of sort of like a soft start, which has been, I know, a model at the elementary school. They really brought that to the ESY experience there. They had kiddos doing like a collaborative, like physical activity. I saw them playing kickball, super fun. There was a situation where a friend was out, clearly in this umpire's opinion, but the kids were divided on it. And then there was this really natural opportunity for them to problem solve and resolve the problem themselves. And by the way, he was out. And that was okay because the kids were part of that process, which is really cool. And then I saw them come in and engage in an art class. And these are kiddos that are on, some of our most vulnerable students that we serve through the district. And they were doing the same art activity, but at their own individual level, which is really cool to see. A lot of creativity, problem solving happening there. And then there was some really great math data collecting over which type of macaroni and cheese flavor was the best. So they prepared the macaroni and cheese, they prepped, planned, organized, and then they did like a blindfold taste test kind of situation. And just all of those fun activities that are really rooted in building those, keeping and maintaining those academic skills. Dare I say, didn't seem like it was school. It was more like fun. But I'm really glad that I got to stop by, and I'm really grateful for all of the people that work with our kids over the summer. Enjoy the next 2 weeks that you have as a break. Get some rest so that you can come back ready to serve the rest of the gang when we all start in 2 weeks from today. But it was awesome to see.
So glad you got to go see all that.
It was fun.
Sean is being a bit modest. She did have another community report. We've been here for the past 5 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
I was letting you do that.
Yeah, TTA negotiations. We met today. The groundwork has been laid where we are in the preliminary stages of reviewing some some of the items that will be up for discussion. There's a lot of research that needs to be done. I think this will be another productive collaborative effort. For our facilities, quite a busy facilities, meaning that we had a lot of the discussion around the day tanks, single liners, dual liners, statute of limitations, et cetera. We now know we need to get that replacement tank. Spent a lot of time talking about the siding, AL2, different configurations for that. AL13, sorry. Yeah, AL2 is a catheter I used to use. Sorry. Yeah, little flip there. And a lot of discussion about windows. So the windows in the high school are 20 to 23 years old. They have, a lot of them have seen better days. A number of them are absolutely non-functioning. When we were talking about the envelope of the building, initially our thoughts had been the envelope, and in my thought processes had not necessarily included the windows. The more we looked into it, the more challenging the project would be. So we have asked for pricing on replacing the windows as well. Several different windows, window types, window varieties, window construction, what's the most expensive, what's the most cost effective, and also learn that there is a good deal of maintenance that goes on with the current windows that we have, the 20-something years old. And anybody that has an older home knows that there's a lot of condensation that tends to build on the inside, especially as the windows get old, it drips down. And if you have wood, which we do for our sills, the wood rots, gets dry rot. So this is some man hours, some maintenance that our maintenance staff has to address on a yearly basis. So, this is a pill that nobody wants to take, but we're trying to educate ourselves as much as possible, and we're getting in some different pricing tiers for the windows, for the project with windows, project without windows, which we will be bringing forward. Also, some visualization for the outdoor project, just to try to make certain that it, when we do replace the outside of the buildings, it's something to be proud of and not just a patch job.
When are you all expecting to get that information?
Yeah, so just a couple more things. We had some very good news around that topic, that project. One, it can be done, the EEI feels comfortable that it can be done during the course of the summer, which was first questionable. The gypsum board, the architect has agreed that, with the proper application of blueskin, that we don't, for the most part, that is going to be fine. That was a big,
that was a big thing.
that was a big deal. So those are two very positive things. Around the windows, I invite anyone after school hours or until school starts to drive around the back, and you can see the windows failing and falling apart. I took some pictures, but so when that was brought to our attention, as difficult as that is, it's something that we're also addressing at the CIP level. That was put in as a potential project or to put into the CIP, depending on. We're going to be getting our numbers in October for both the windows and the project that's going out to bid. I'm not misspeaking, am I, Justin? That's my understanding of it. Okay, so we'll get the numbers the day before the next school board meeting. And so it's going to go out to RFP. The project itself, or should I say, not out to RFP? I apologize. EEI is going to be putting it out. Right. They're getting their numbers. I got the RFP of the brain there. And the same thing with the windows. And I think the architect came in, gave us a great presentation on the windows, good, better, best, designs, colors, the multitude of options. And I think Mark and I were both in agreement on a specific window and a specific style, color to be determined based on what the design of the project is going to be. So that's, sorry.
Yeah, and for public knowledge, I think it's important that not only are we looking for two different price points for the project, depending on how large in scope it needs to be, not that we want it to be, that it needs to be, but also two different, we're asking for some pretty complex financial analysis, depending on how much of the gypsum board does need to be replaced. We have elected to go down the avenue of not replacing all of it, even though it is, many decades old, if it doesn't need to be. Because if we replaced it, even though it didn't need to be, if it's structurally doing what it should be doing as a vapor barrier, we don't want to replace it to make this project as inexpensive as possible. I think it's important for, the few members of the public that are watching, that are tuned into this stuff. This is not just, a carte blanche type thing. We're trying to nitpick and save every penny we can. Also, for the facilities, we talked about the oil contract. We have an electric contract, which will be coming up. We received some pricing by an energy vendor. They wanted to lock us in multi-year pricing. Doc Martin is going out and contacting some other energy vendors to see whether we can tighten that down anymore, because the pricing they gave us was it guaranteed a nice number that we could budget in, but there was obviously some fat built in there for the liability they are assuming with locking something in for multi-year contract. But we're trying to do what we can, around the margins. So we hope next meeting to have some of that information for you.
Okay.
I assume there's going to be a map of where you have gypsum board and where you don't forever available as you try to maintain a thing that is differently put together around the building.
When you say what when
you talk about areas where you're going to be replacing an area where you're not.
We don't know.
We've had troubles with is knowing what we have because we had.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I understand what you're saying.
From the get-go, and I hate to see us, 20 years from now when we're not here.
Yep.
And our facility people are different. We have the information we need.
That's a good point, Don. I hadn't thought of it. That will absolutely be brought up. That's a fantastic idea.
I guess, Don, my question to you is, so the first place where we took and looked into the wall, it was in a corner underneath the flashing, underneath the entranceway out back, right?
No,
In the new section.
He's talking about going forward, Jack.
I think what he's trying to say is that is facilities, when you all are updating things, are you keeping a master list, a master map? That way, 10 years from now, we're like, what's there? What was done there? You have a log or whatever that can tell you what it is.
I guess my question, I think that's irrelevant because, and not to, just because no, because most of what we've taken off looks like brand new, because believe it or not, the tar paper did an incredible job. I mean, it looks brand new. The one place that was compromised was about 16 square feet. It was in a corner where the water ran in behind the wall, right down the wall. That there's going to be a couple more conditions like that. We have put in an allowance of 400 square feet of replacement gypsum board, but we're going to be replacing it in kind, and hopefully the water. I mean, it's all going to be protected with the same skim coat. It's called blue skin. So it's all going to be exactly the same.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
No, it does. I think just what to Dawn's thing is just that making sure that there's a running list or something of like what you said, if that was all done, then make sure there's a note that, hey.
So in 20 years, they don't have to pull it off.
Right.
And then go through the 2 months that we did trying to figure out what the product was, because we didn't know what it was initially.
If in 20 years we're pulling any of that off, other than maybe just I won't.
Yes, please.
The contractor, though, we would have they would have elevation plans and electrical plans and.
We'll make certain that, so right now.
We just file electronically.
We want to mitigate the amount of gypsum we have to replace. So we're gonna know.
Yep.
All right. Did you have anything else?
No.
All right. I don't have anything. Dawn, did you have anything?
No.
Jack, anything else?
CIP.
Oh, how was CIP?
CIP. First of all, before I go on the CIP, I want to say with the curriculum committee, I'm enjoying my time there because I'm surrounded by talented people.
Really
Sandy,
smart.
you are who you are.
Yeah, they are.
But I'll tell you, the board should appreciate what Mary Ann brings to the table. She's extremely talented and extremely good. And maybe when everyone else is picking on me, you'll take it easy on me. But no, it's a pleasure to have someone that really is that good on a committee. CIP, I would say we had a spirited discussion on CIP. The first thing is we had a gentleman come in, and this is, I know this is important. Daryl Britton came in and talked about the water sprinkler systems in both Danville and Sandown. Danville, because it's mostly masonry building, could be have a dry system. Sandown, on the other hand, is basically a bunch of candlesticks. I mean, it's all twigs. So that's gonna have to be a wet system, which incorporates a 30,000 gallon cistern. But he ran the numbers. And what I will tell you is the things that we're struggling with is Sandown is very expensive and Danville is not, to put in that fire suppression system.
What's the water supply situation at Danville?
Well, they talked about going with the dry system, so I think that would,
So what I mean,
I'm not a fire suppression guy, and I know you are.
so the reason I ask is because Sandown,
Yep.
they don't have any water supply. There's no hydrants. So if that building catches on fire, there's no sprinkler system, which means that every minute that goes by, that fire quadruples,
Well, that's-
triples. And then by the time the fire department actually gets there, which it could be fast, but their tanks they have are only 1,000 gallon.
So
You take the square footage, divide by 3, that tells you if the whole entire thing was involved, how many gallons a minute that you would need.
So that's why the 30,000 gallon cistern of water,
Right.
right, will probably mitigate the impact until the fire department gets there.
Right.
And the idea, like, we talked like, well, it's good. The good news is, what I got out of both of those, there'll be no life safety issues,
But the problem
but
is that if you, the Sandown, say, we're gonna say Sandown, for instance, if that building catches on fire,
it's gonna burn to the ground.
then what are you gonna do with all the students?
Well,
Where
that's
are we
that-
putting
well,
them?
If, let me finish the report. So
I
that's-
know.
That's the discussion that we had. It's what do you do with all those students? Now, we got into, and this is gonna be the second part of my thing, we got into, are we insured? Does the insurance company come in with a bunch of mods? Do we have an alternative plan? Are there R&D buildings around here that are not full that we can? So those were discussions that we had that, quite frankly, that's a broader discussion with more talented people. Not that the people there aren't, but when you're trying to justify the cost or even justify doing a project like that, those are all considerations that were discussed. Mary Ann, do you wanna, cause you were there.
She's like, no.
I think the progress was that the number that had previously been listed for the Sandown sprinkler system was way under what it's going to cost.
So it was roughly
In order to do this, it's
2.5 million. One of the problems with the CIP is we get projects, and this is how backed up things are. We get projects with a price tag on them from 2016, right? So unless that project moves to the top of the list, typically we're not updating from a budgetary standpoint
So-
each one of those projects.
Not to throw another wrench in the system.
No,
How many homes did Sandown just approve to start building? Single-family homes.
200.
So
That's another consideration that we had, that this system that was designed for the $2.5 million, it also allows for potential expansion of, what was it, 20,000 square feet? I think it was another 20,000 square feet.
and I think the number was 2.1 million though.
Was it 2.1? I'm mistaken.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's, I'll sleep better tonight.
Save you some money.
But anyways,
I feel like the Sandown, I mean, but I feel like especially the Sandown, that situation, with especially what's going on, I don't think that's something CIP. Like, I don't
it was
think.
on the list.
No, I agree with you, but I'm just saying with the homes that are being built in that area, if it catches on fire, there's not, like, you're not gonna put it out. I know it's not a life safety thing, but then that's hundreds of students that are displaced.
We had the discussion.
Bite your tongue.
We're the defense pads.
I'm serious though, you'd have a gap between, you'd be able to rebuild.
So we're looking at this as a warrant article thing? I mean, it can't be CIP.
Well,
CIP.
let's put it this way. It was on the list.
Yeah.
No, I agree
We had no
with you.
idea
I
what
agree
the
with
budget
you.
number was.
I agree.
We got the budget number and I'm reporting that back to you.
Yeah.
That's,
You're like, I don't wanna step in this.
Don't kill the messenger, he's saying.
Well, it's not my bailiwick, it's more your bailiwick than mine, but those were all things that we talked about. The other thing I wanna talk about briefly about the CIP is, again, there seems to be, what the CIP does is it takes requests from administrators or from school board reps, and they determine whether it gets on the list or doesn't get on the list. And then we prioritize it. And the only thing that we really should be doing is when we bring something, when it works its way up through the years to the top of the list, we have to vote that up or down based on the information that we have. I feel like there's a reason why we go through that process, and that process was very well thought out by quite frankly, Sue and John Sherman. They put a lot of time and hard work and thought into it. And you just, why spend the time and the energy updating all those budgetary numbers and the other good news is that thing was deep. There were hundreds of things. I don't think we have 50 now. I mean, I think it's less than 50.
It was about 30, I think.
Yeah, so we've done a good job of archiving those things. We never get rid of them, but we archive them just in case. And the original reason, just so everyone knows, because some people think the CIP is kind of foo-foo dust. The problem that we had back, I'm gonna say 2012, 13, 14, is we would come up with a project, and everyone would say, great, and then we would get deliberative session would come, and people would forget some of the things we were talking about, and some of those projects fall into the abyss. So, or someone would say, well, I didn't know you needed that. So, and I think the minimum, we raised the minimum quite a bit. It's like up to 100,000 now, I believe, per project. So, just an FYI.
Anything else for committee reports? Okay, any other business at this time? Did you?
Do we want to add the Sandown fire suppression system as a future agenda item?
I think we need to. I think it's especially for that town in general, because we're gonna, with the homes that are being built, they're adding to their student population. We're gonna have to look at some point about like, what's our expansion look like? What is that gonna look like?
That was another
Yeah.
topic on the CIP because it was on the list.
Yeah.
Somewhere in outer space exists a set of drawings
Somewhere.
and no one can find them. So let's say they don't exist. So again, I defer to that as a broader discussion beyond the CIP.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think the agenda item for the sprinkler systems at Sandown, and then Danville, just because you mentioned it, and then also too, we should probably be looking at Sandown in general about like expansion and like what that town's future plans are, just to kind of, because we don't want to wait till we have to. We should be planning.
How soon does NASDAQ get their hands on those, demographics?
Well, that's a good question.
Because they do that work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think this is an opportunity for Jess and I also, when we re-coordinate with the BOS in Sandown.
Yeah.
They would have the most up-to-date numbers in the building permits and occupancies, and so that's something you and I can work on.
I guess the question for me is because I struggle with the price tag versus it burning to the ground.
Yeah.
If we were to have an event there, right?
Yeah.
How much does a fire suppression system, because
Save.
those areas that are most likely to something would occur are sprinkled. Like the boiler room, the kitchen, those areas have some type of suppression system.
Yeah.
But it is a tinderbox. So the question is, if you do put in the suppression system, how much do you lose versus losing everything?
Are we saving the basement by putting it in, right?
Well, it depends.
And I don't know.
I mean, the fact is that's very old construction. I mean, it could take off, but I'm telling you right now, not having anything, I mean, you're looking at losing the entire building versus you might lose just a section.
Well, that's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, but yeah, that's a good point. Good points to do.
Again, the only other thing I will say, and I say this all the time,
That is the only
when
other
we
thing.
do things on the cheap,
Oh, yeah.
right? Instead of putting that building up masonry, which it probably should have been done, we end up, I can look at just about every project we've done and said, if we'd done it right in the first place, we would have spent less money.
Yeah.
Don?
I have seen districts go to things like double sessions where they would have, morning in an afternoon, basically population of students coming in. It's a nightmare, logistically and hiring people to and whatnot.
Transportation.
But I mean, that you'd be forced to do Zoom classes.
Yeah. We would, I would prefer not get there.
So
Don't sell that.
Say it with a smile.
the question that was unanswered was,
Yeah.
is the building insured
In the morning and
via
yeah, all-
Pridex?
school in the afternoon.
It is.
Yeah, all the buildings are insured.
That's what I
Yeah.
would have assumed, but it was a question and
All right, any other business at this time? All right, we don't have a non-public. I'm gonna close this meeting at 9:15.
There's no other delegates.
Oh, there's no other
individuals.
delegates individuals? Thank you, Shauna. All right, I'm closing this meeting at 9:15. Good night, everybody.